really good on the tree trimming this year because
It won't rain. I do it, man. I'm just glad we didn't lose a lot of time. Didn't lose time. We lost power for 24 hours.
Okay. I want to welcome everybody. I'm going to get my breath. Good evening. Good to see everybody here. We're here for the council meeting. We're starting a little bit late. Time here, 7:16. Welcome everybody to this meeting, council meeting on February the 2nd, Monday night, 7 p.m. here at the community center. Do a roll call. Dakota? Here. Chris? Here. Teresa?
here.
Melissa?
Here.
Tex? Here. Okay, all are here, all present. We have a quorum. Let's stand and do our salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for your presence. We thank you for the many blessings that you bestowed upon us. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to come together and discuss the city business. We just ask, Father, that you might give us wisdom and give us understanding. We thank you for the many blessings that you've bestowed on us on a personal basis. We do call on you to remember those who are ill. Some may be fighting for their life. And I pray, Father, that you will just be with the families and the people who are involved. And may we honor you, Lord, by just being the best we can be. And we'll ask these things in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right. We have a couple of folks, we're at item number 3 on the agenda. A couple of folks want to speak. Ms. Haney.
Hey, the item that I was wanting to speak about is actually on the agenda, but I figured I would go ahead and speak to it now. I've been, well, between being away and being sick, I've not been here for a little while, but, I've had folks keeping me up to date on everything. I know that some on the city council are not planning on running again. I would humbly ask them if they wanted to reconsider that, because, and this is why I said this, when you have a situation like we do in our city, that's where you're under investigation and they're looking at where the money's gone, it concerns me that the people that have been asking the most questions might be considering leaving. It concerns me a lot, and I would ask that they would reconsider and stand up for this county, because I don't think we're going to have money for them. I would also ask I know it's gonna break a few hearts because I really seriously considered putting my application in. But I decided not to because of my medical conditions, and honestly, I don't know that I would be qualified based on the things I have going on neurologically right now. But I do want to make sure that the microscope does stay on the city council. It will stay on the city council. That's why we're still recording. But again, I would ask people that are willing to fight, to continue to fight for what they know is right, so that we can have a great home for the children of our town. Because that's what this is about. This is about making this town last. So I ask that you do it for the children. I know it's not easy. I know it's a pain in the rear. I know that there's a lot of conflicts and there's a lot of hassle that goes along with this. But if we're going to have a town and it's going to be a good town and be solvent and follow the laws, then we're going to have to have people that are of good moral character that are willing to stand up and say, no, that's not right.
30 seconds.
And that I'm not going to back down no matter what you throw at me, no matter whether you call me a boy or if you want to be insulting or degrading, because God knows I've struggled myself here for the last 2 years. And I'm not going to do that anymore, but I will keep the spotlight on here for the news page. And hopefully some of y'all will get down before the 13th of February, which is the deadline to file to be on the ballot to run for the city council
Time has expired, Pam.
in Bogata. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, David Miller.
What I'm about to say, I thought for a month about how to say it. There's no other way but to say it. Some of y'all have mishandled money, fire department money, and we get, I don't know, I hadn't been here, I'll find out. We found out very little. So actually what I'm going to ask from the board that's been here, if y'all either not run for your office or step down and be done with it. We need fiscal responsibility in this town, or we're going to be right back where we was now. Lacking over $100,000, probably closer to $200,000. So it's time people make up their mind. Like I said, I'm not going to be in tax. I don't know one way to say it, it's straight to you. The taxpayers cannot keep funding this fiscal responsibility y'all not having. Sometimes, here lately though, some of y'all have showed a little restraint spending. And I appreciate it as a taxpayer. But as far as that, that's what I've asked. Y'all not to run or step down. And y'all know who I'm talking to. I don't have to repeat it. Y'all was there.
Thank you, David. All right, that's all we have set for public comments.
While we're right here, Bobby, did you want to, you told me to remind you to.
I've already spoke to him about it.
You don't want to arrest those?
Oh, I can. The bank told me that that they haven't been charging us a research fee, but because we have been requesting so much information from them, if we continue to ask for information, they will start charging us $25 for every request. So that's something we need to keep in mind.
All right, anyone else? All right, item number 4, public service announcements. Evan?
Good evening, everybody. You got that on me?
Yep.
Appreciate you. Okay. Just real quick, a huge shout out to our maintenance department. Obviously, everybody was in here during the ice storm, and the maintenance crew did an absolutely phenomenal job, in my opinion. They prepared for the freeze. They got everything ready. Thank God we didn't lose any power. It exacerbated a lot of things, but they were out there enduring the elements, making sure that there was no extra water leaks. So a huge, huge shout out to them. They do so much more than what you guys realize every single day. They are the lifeline to the service that you guys get on a daily basis. So, just again, huge shout out to them. Really appreciative of all the work that they do. Lessons learned from me, and I'll extend this to the board here in a minute. As far as the recent storm, so the biggest lesson learned for me was to get that 30-yard dumpster removed earlier, 2 days, 3 days earlier, and allow for extra trash that might have accumulated because of the instances that we experienced over the last couple of days. Just provide an extra space for them to bring their trash if they need it. So we're learning, we're still moving forward, but again, that was my biggest lesson learned as far as that experience. We are experiencing an issue with the payment transfers, i.e. combined balances. So if you as a customer come in and try to pay multiple accounts, I can do it with a check. I can't do it cash anymore after tonight. We accept the minutes from the last meeting. I won't be able to accept cash payments anymore. If it comes to a credit card payment, I will not be able to do combination of balances. They'll have to charge you for each balance that you want to pay on. Hampton is aware of the issue. They are working to resolve it, but for right now, unless you have a check or a money order to satisfy multiple accounts at the same time, if you bring in a credit card and try to combine multiple balances, it's going to charge you $2.95 per charge. This was for the board specifically. So a few months ago, I submitted a request to have a new service agreement sent out to everybody, not necessarily sent out to everybody, but implement for our service as a water department. There was some pushback or tabling due to the verbiage. It was based on piggybacking and travel trailers. Have we come to an agreement on that?
I don't think we've discussed it again.
Okay, well, I will bring it up at the very next meeting, and I'll re-implement this.
Make sure you put it on the agenda so I can vote for it.
I'll put it on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
So it was on the agenda, and the attorney was supposed to work on verbiage, and somebody else was supposed to work on the actual ordinances. Nobody's ever gotten back to me, but this protects us as a city. It protects your customer base, right? It identifies roles and responsibilities. And again, I submitted this many months ago, and I still haven't heard anything back. So I'll re-implement it. I'll put it on the agenda next time. Again, sir, I'll submit it to you via email, and please get back to me. Is it Hamilton, Mr. Hamilton? And tell me what I need to correct so we can implement this new service agreement.
Sure.
All right, moving on. My goal, my job, is to assist every customer that we have in this customer base. That is what I want to do every single day. But the majority of our customer base, they are fantastic at responses. When I reach out, people reach back. When I leave a message, they call back. I still have many customers whose contact information is not updated. When I reach out to you, I have vital information for you. Whether that be everybody's favorite past due balances, or you have a leak, there's something wrong. We need to communicate. If you don't communicate with me, if your contact information is incorrect, we can't get these problems solved. Bottom line, please empty your voicemail. Update your contact information. Come in and talk to me so I can reach out to you as a person, as a customer, and we can talk about the issues that arise. If you don't do that, I can't do anything for you. Nothing. Again, the majority of our customer base is fantastic. When I reach out, when I leave a message, most call me back. Some do not. I need those that don't to update their contact information. My number is 903-352-3683. Put it in your phone, mark it as the water department, 903-352-3683. That is me, that is my office, that is my desk. When I call you, there's an issue, we need to talk. Plain and simple. With respect to late fees, bills are due on the 10th of each month. The 10th. Okay? On the 11th, I get to the office. I do my accounting for the day prior. I pull all payments that were submitted in the Dropbox. I wait for the mail to come, and then I process those payments. I apply those late fees probably around 10 or 11 o'clock on that Monday or that Tuesday, whatever day falls after the 10th. That's when I apply those late payments. If you don't pay me by that time, you will receive a late payment. You are not exempt from a late payment because that 10th falls on a Friday, a Saturday, or a Sunday. If anything, you are given extra days to pay. There are mediums for you to pay with. You can use the website. It is on BogotaCity.com. Is that our website?
Yep.
You can reach it through that. You can drop a check into the Dropbox. You can mail me a check or a money order. There are several options that you can use. Please don't act surprised when you get a late payment if you haven't paid by the 10th. Cutoffs are executed on the 25th of every month. If the 25th falls on a Friday, a Saturday, or a Sunday, cutoffs are executed the following business day, whether that be a Monday or a Tuesday. If you don't pay your bill before that date, your water will be shut off. Plain and simple. If you have any questions, any complaints, any gripes, any issues that we can solve together, my number is 903-352-3683. I am here to work for the customer base. I am here for you. That is all I can really say about it. Do you have any lessons learned from our latest experience with the ice storm, ladies and gentlemen? Anything that we did or did not do properly? Any issues? I was hoping we'd have more of a turnout. Anybody? Any issues? Okay, again, my number, 903-352-3683. If I call you, I got an issue, please answer your phone, please return messages. If you don't, and we can't talk, we can accomplish almost anything with communication, but if you don't communicate, we're kind of stuck. You guys have anything for me? Nothing? Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's feeling better.
I will.
So we try to go out of order for just a minute. Is that okay?
Yes.
Just
I
real
don't know,
quick.
you need to.
Yes.
That is okay?
Yes.
So, I wanted this to be heard on a couple of items on the agenda. It won't take me long. Concerning item B, and also item G. Summary of installing GPS trackers on all city-owned police vehicles, provide city council members with direct access to real-time location data while the city are the owners of the vehicles, and has legal authority to install tracking devices for fleet management, providing the council with direct access to live location feeds presents significant legal, safety, and liability risks for the city of Bogota, for several reasons. Under Texas Penal Code, Chapter 1606, the owner of the vehicle may authorize installation of tracking devices. As the legal owner, the city may mandate GPS tracking devices for legitimate business purposes, such as auditing fuel, maintenance scheduling, and to ensure officer safety. Constitutionally, while the Fourth Amendment allows a reasonable workplace monitoring, the Supreme Court has established that continuous tracking can infringe upon a person's reasonable expectation of privacy. Monitoring must be reasonable at its inception and reasonable in scope. Tracking used for administrative oversight is legally distinct from surveillance of individual officers by elected officials. Labor relations. Under existing Texas labor laws, the department may maintain clear policies regarding when and why data is accessed to avoid grievances or civil litigations regarding invasion of privacy.
public information and law enforcement exceptions, GPS logs are considered public records under the Texas Public Information Act, Government Code Chapter 552. However, the department is legally obligated to protect information that could interfere with the detection, investigation, or prosecution of crime, endanger the physical safety of an officer, or compromise sensitive undercover operations or surveillance techniques. Providing the direct feed, live feed to the council could inadvertently bypass these statutory protections and create security vulnerability for active operations. So, if we are looking at a drug house and someone on the council knows it, hey, why is the police out in front of your house? There goes your operation. There goes your investigation, your 6-month investigation, or however long it's been. Say we're looking at a child kidnapper or human trafficking. Hey, why is so-and-so out in front of your neighbor's house? I don't know, let me ask you. Hey, why are the police watching your house? There goes your trafficking investigation. While under council and mayor form of government, the city council does serve as the policy-making body, while the chief and the city mayor oversee the daily operations. Direct monitoring of police movements by city council members may be interpreted as an administrative overreach. It risks the perception of political interference in law enforcement activities and could be used as a basis for legal challenges in criminal cases where law enforcement officer location data is sensitive. So that could throw a whole case. And there, you may not sometimes think it in Bogata, small town Bogata, Texas, but there are drug dealers here. They come through here on a daily basis. We may not catch them every day, but they're here. And it goes for police markings. That's what we use those unmarked vehicles for. We use them for undercover operations. We use them for surveillance. Now, do the Chargers have spotlights on them? Yes, but so do civilian Chargers. So the markings and the GPS trackers, they could, interfere. Now, I do support GPS for fleet management or internal audit purposes. I'm not against it, but there should be guidelines for it. So to mitigate the liability, I recommend that the access is restricted to the department's command staff and the city mayor's office for administrative oversight, if y'all do choose to go down that road. Council oversight is maintained through a periodic summary report rather than real-time data access. And formal requests for specific location data to be processed through the city attorney's office to ensure compliance with the Public Information Act. Again, not totally against it. I think there are good reasons for it. But with this being on the agenda, I felt the need that y'all, from my side of it, understand that we do undercover stuff. We watch houses. There's times I may be up here in my personal truck watching the house. And if you have GPS on my cars, and I'm doing it undercover, then I'm going to start using my personal truck. There's reasons to have it, but there are very big reasons not to have it. As I said, it could interfere with investigations. It could go to a criminal case. Well, the city council had live access to where the police are, and it could go down to civil litigations for privacy reasons. But again, I saw this on the agenda. I felt the need that I needed to come up with something to read to you guys, to maybe, hopefully you see both sides of it. Again, I think there are good reasons for it. If I was in a car crash or something and nobody could get a hold of me and they knew I was at work, well, hey, this car says he's moved between Clarksville and Bogata. There are good reasons for it. But then again, there are several reasons why I'm against it as well. unmarked vehicles, and there are reasons that we don't allow people to have our locations. Now, if you want to monitor and get a month-to-month status update, okay, fine. The live feed, I'm very against that just due to investigation reasons and, you know, I mean, it goes into privacy. You know, why? Are you looking at it 24/7, or are you, I mean, what are the purposes of live feed GPS tracking for the city council members? That's my concern, that's my question. What is the purpose? And if it's something you say, hey, we just wonder where these cars from month to month, we want a status update. Okay, that's fine. But there are several reasons that we do the things we do, and I know sometimes people don't understand that, but the unmarked cars and the GPS tracking, we don't have those for a reason. Someone could hack into your phones, and they could get your personal data, and I've seen it done. They could hack into your phones, they could hack into your computers, and get everything off your computers or your phone. So it's not 100% safe to have that on your phone. And that goes back to, hey, what if somebody didn't like the police department here? What if they didn't like me, or they had a personal vendetta against Johnny Jarvis? They hacked your phones and got their location. So there are several reasons why I'm against it in a live feed access. If it comes down to a monthly report, okay, that's fine. I don't take these cars anywhere I'm not supposed to do it anyway. So just think about that and consider that while you're going over these agendas, and as far as the GPS tracking and the markings on the police units. So that's it. Got a major accident. I'm going to go back and continue to help on that. Thank you for your time. Y'all have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
All right, we'll jump back to item 5, consent agenda. I don't see a consent agenda listed. So you have things in your packet related to what we normally do. So we can take a minute and look in there and make a motion then to receive some of the things like the minutes, approval of minutes. I think the other items are probably embedded into the agenda as we move along, but no minutes are not listed.
My copy of the agenda shows, consider the minutes at 5A. I may have a wrong copy.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, I just didn't go down far enough, thank you. So then we do have that on the list. All right, what's the wish of the council?
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I second.
Motion and second to accept the minutes as presented. Any other comments? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The public hearing, if we move into the item number 6, public hearing on the fiscal year 25-26 budget, city budget. Since our last meeting, we spoke about those things on the budget. There is an addition. Attorney asked us to include funding our funds that we've been operating on for the past 4 months now. I did put a column in there. It's 6563 on your agenda under expenses. And I'll roll that up here in just a minute. In the amount of $120,000 information from QuickBooks. Was there another source, Bobby, besides QuickBooks, or is that what we got?
That's what we got it from.
QuickBooks is coming under, our nearing completion. We're waiting, working with our CPA so that those funds and everything can be properly managed. Also added on the police department, I added line for 3 payroll officers. Of course, those are all zeros at this point. And I believe that is all the additions since our last meeting. Those are the things that were discussed during our last meeting. So I'll plug those in. Let me get out here and roll that thing up so folks can see it. Dick, would you mind turning off that set of lights?
Hey!
Well, not every one of them.
I don't know how that would walk. Get in there.
That's sign back in. Where I can operate it.
Do you like it like that or like that? Which one's better? Lights on in, lights on out here.
I think that one looks better in my opinion. What about everybody else think?
Yeah, it's dark and darker. That's gonna be exactly what you gave us, correct?
Yeah. Just to recap, the income section, tax revenue, $281,736. All of that first section. See if I can get this thing to scroll. My mouse is not wanting to work real good. About as good as I'm going to get it, I think. As far as looking at it. Total income for the year would be $1,139,506. The two line items there, 3912, just above that, and 3913. That had to do with the savings accounts and those sorts of things, and the CDs. Those are not included as operational funds in that total income. Well, if I can get the silly thing to work. The line that I was making reference to was 6563, 120,088 dollars. Those were our expenses over the last 4-month period.
or during this new, well, what would be the normal budget cycle. And then you'll see also under the police department, the payroll, that I added 3 officers. Those are all zeros. Of course, we don't have any of them yet, but
Could you explain item 118?
118,
You may have just done that earlier, and I missed it.
you're talking about the form 118?
The overrun.
Yeah, the overrun, basically, that's the monies that we're talking about here. There's, for this fiscal year, which normally would have started October the 1st, the funds that were expended from what would be that budget amount, those are the funds that had to be put in there. Those are funds that we did not have funds for, so the $120,088, what we will be doing is extending the fiscal year to a 16-month budget rather than a 12-month budget, which will account for those expenditures. And then this budget for see if I can get this straight in my head, 25-26 will end up being an 8-month budget. And then we'll be back, at the regular timing sequence at the end of this year.
So then we started this budget at $120,000 in the hole, basically.
You don't have that one, but there was about $2,400 left from the 24-25 budget year as an excess. But it was very small amount. There wasn't much wiggle room in the budget from the 24-25. And that's the extent of any changes since our last meeting. Do you have any questions or anything different that we might need to add? Now, I know there's some resolutions that's going to be coming up. I don't have those resolutions ready for tonight. There was some wording that we needed to get right. I've sought council's opinion on it, so he's made some suggestions and some things that we may need to include. We'll have to do another budget amendment for the 24-25 to reflect those changes. As I was looking for, he had a request for the resolution that we did back in, I guess at the end of the 23-24 budget cycle. Council approved a resolution there for the amendments. It's listed there, but on that particular item, instead of putting the budget numbers, the line number, like for instance, this 65 there where it says police departments, use the form line number like 121, and so that was incorrect, and that's got to be corrected in order to reflect on that line the amount that's on that line, because that form line number does not match up with the total of that line number. So 121 on this form may not be the same line on the other form. Clear as mud?
Number 119, does that entail the bid that you went out to get on fixing the building here?
No, well, no, not entirely, but yes, what that's a donation for a community center from Robert Rhodes.
Okay.
To work on the thing that I had approached him about, or that he approached me about, was the leak over here And so we had talked about putting an awning and that sort of thing, so he wanted to donate $1,000 to that particular project. He also wanted to donate $500 to the bench project that the crime board had committed to do. And so those monies have been set aside, for that particular project. Now, as time moves on, if there's things that needs to be put in a project, then we have a line for that. But right now, there's $1,000 sitting in there.
Nothing else in the budget for the community center?
Pardon?
Is there anything else in the budget for the community center?
Not specifically. There wasn't a line item on. I don't think there's any on the revenue side as well. We had never created one that I was aware of.
For income, you've got line item 3175 facility rentals.
Facility rentals, yeah, but I mean that was for this facility, but yeah.
But that would be income.
But not well, you're right, but I mean, it wasn't anything as far as donations or anything like that, it's.
Which line item is that one, the income?
The one that I was talking about?
Yeah.
Income, it's gonna be, 3175. If you look at.
It's not up,
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's not
have it
up
on the
here
wall.
right now. If you go to the city website and go, is it under?
Documents, should be under documents.
Under documents, the budget proposal is there, and this is under the income. There is a line item for facility rentals.
Well, the reason I was asking
When
was,
this facility is rented out, or the park, that money goes into that line item.
well, the reason I was asking is I knew y'all had shut it down, so I didn't know if that was
Yeah,
something.
there's not any funds coming in right at the moment.
Yeah.
Would donations be allowed to go into that line item?
That's a good question. I'm not sure from a legal standpoint.
If you got the money, yeah.
So if it's a donation, it can go into this, even if it says rentals,
Yeah, your whole goal here is to account for every nickel and dime that the city gets. So if there's a donation that you have, it needs to show up in there someplace. And maybe to show that it's a donation and not property tax money revenue. But if you have some donations, you need to stick it in there. If you're gonna spend it, if you're not, put it in the bank. And remember, if I give the city money and I say, this is money to fix this community center, you cannot spend it on anything else. Well, you can, but it's a crime to do it.
Right.
So if you have restricted funds, I would suggest they show up someplace so everybody knows they're there.
So like
They're in
that.
the bank, they're yours.
So I have a question there. Do I need to be showing that $1,000 up in the revenue fund?
Maybe so, if there's $1,000 been donated and it's been donated before this has been done, then there's $1,000 there that's in the bank account, and we ought to be able to track from here to here to here to here. So we ought to have the income, and maybe just have a donation thing there or something. But you've got to restrict it someplace in QuickBooks, so that we don't think there's money there that we can.
But it's okay to have it there in the expense line as well.
Sure.
Good.
You're gonna expense it out, that's the
Yeah.
purpose, you get it, you're gonna spend it.
Yeah.
For the purpose of record keeping on what you said, then they would probably want to put it was for the roof and not say for the kitchen or whatever he donated it specifically for.
Yeah, it depends on how specific the donation is for. But if it says, hey, it's for improvements at the community center, then you could do the kitchen, you could do the bathroom, you could do the roof, you could do where you wanted to do. But
So in my line item there, do I need to clarify that more and say for awning or, well, I mean, we don't know what that project is going to be yet.
Well, if it's just a general donation to work on this or remodel this, then that's all it is.
Okay,
And that's what you put it in there for.
okay. Yes.
Do we need a line item for that?
No, the money was supposed to be put into the crime board. I don't know if it did, if it was or if it wasn't, but, it's designated for the crime board.
Did he give you the check? Or
Uh,
handed you the check?
he gave me the check, I gave it to the city secretary
With what instruction?
with instruction to put it in the crime board.
Okay, that works.
And $1,000 was to go, at the time, in general funds, because it didn't have that line item there until recently, so. Not him, not her. You know, that was back in the,
Is there any way to know when that donation was made so we can go back and track and make sure it got?
yeah, it
Well, if
should
you
be.
got
I
a
mean,
check.
we can, look at the, should be able to get bank records, but I may have the date.
I think it would behoove us to track that and make sure that it actually made it there.
Because it's gonna make a difference on who pays for that. If it's still in the city's bank account, then the city's gonna have to pay for the material to fix those benches.
Well, all those accounts, I mean, everything either went in general or water, I mean, so it's, should be listed. I think it went to general. I can't be.
So it's
absolutely
not
sure.
the crime board account?
No. That was only $1,000. But the $500 should have gone into the crime board.
Okay. We need to find out when that donation was deposited, so we can go back and make sure that it got where it's supposed to.
I'll see what I can find.
Well, it's in the crime board minutes.
Do what?
It's in the crime board minutes.
Okay.
I have a question on line 3131, but Economic Development Corporation. We're showing $4,900 in income. Where is that coming from? How are
That's part of that money that was at the not the CARES Act, what was that other act?
American Recovery Act.
Thank you, American Recovery Act, that was the remaining funds.
But it's listed in here under income. It's showing as a $4,900 income. That means it's income right now. Where that money was deposited a long time ago.
Yeah, it went to the general fund.
So where's that $4,000 right now? If I was gonna go write a check, which account would I write it on?
I'm assuming it would be in the general fund, because the BEDC doesn't have a checking account.
They have an account though.
There's an account there as far as that money being deposited, but everything all went to the general account. And the council moved, I don't know, I'd have to look exactly, $130-something thousand over into that account.
Well, I show that there was a separate bank account that ended in 3140 for the Bogata Economic Development Corporation. And the last I looked at it, it had $4,000.
And that's where it's supposed to be sitting.
Well, that's not the general fund, though. That's the Bogata Economic Development Corporation.
Well, I mean, I realize that, but there was never any of that account set up until recently. All the money went into the general fund. There was just no account set up. It never got associated with any of the project, and there were no projects as far as that goes.
Well, no, that's not right, because I had looked at those bank records, and on 9/29/2022, there was $131,689.64 transferred out of the general fund into that account. And then on May the 26th, 2022, there was $131,000 transfer out of the general fund into that account. So that wasn't city money. Once it went over there, it's not city money, it's somebody else's, it's that corporation's money. They have the obligation to manage it. So there are two separate accounts, bank accounts, I have seen. So why is the economic development money being counted as income for the city this year?
Well, I don't have an answer for that. That's where we put it, and we set that up just for, to be a repository for that, for those funds, so that we use for infrastructure money, but I don't have an answer why, I mean, necessarily, the money went, to the best of my knowledge, went into the general account initially.
Who was responsible for shifting that money around? Who did that?
I believe it was the secretary that did that.
We have a city secretary that moves $262,000 around and nobody knows about it?
Well, we don't now, but I think those questions need to be asked of those people, I think.
Well, who would move that on whose authority?
Well, the council is the one that moved the money so it could be used for infrastructure.
But if the money's put in the Bogata Economic Development Corporation, the council doesn't control that.
No.
The BEDC.
No, I mean, I get that now, but at the time, nobody really knew that that was the case. I mean, the money was put there so it wouldn't be used for something else. It was designated for infrastructure. So that was set in an account so that the money could be used for infrastructure funding.
Who all was part of the BEDC at the time? I know it was you.
Me and Tex, and then Lindsay, huh? Kimberly. That's it. There was nobody else involved. Tried to get somebody to join. Nobody was interested in joining. Council wasn't interested in doing anything with it, so it just sat there.
So then you, Tex, and Tim Lindsay would have been the one to tell Tisha to do whatever with the money, is what you're saying.
That's what should have happened, yes.
Mayor, I request a break because our secretaries had to step out.
Mm-hmm.
Right outside the city limits of the city. And they told me that it sounded like it was right here, but it was right when you got outside. What was it? No, the kid was from here, he was 17. They took him to my place, they couldn't get a helicopter. Crashing the car, and these two messed
other questions, about any part of the budget? Questions maybe from last time that you looked at, or?
I have a question, this may sound stupid. On this income, these amounts are what we expect to come into the city, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the question about the economic development, the 49,000, it's already here, we're not expecting it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what the question, what the concern is, being on this as a potential income, because we've already got it.
Well, you gotta show where the money's sitting, correct?
Okay.
I don't know if that's the distinction, whether or not you already have it, because you already have the donations. You've got to show the money that you have, that you're gonna spend, or the money that you expect to get from property taxes that you're gonna get. That's what the budget's about. So if that $4,100 is gonna be spent, and I don't think the city council can spend it. You know why?
Because it's,
Yeah, it's in the corporation.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't spend that as long as that corporation is functioning. So that was my question, is why is it on there? Because it's really not money that the city can expect to get in. As long as that business is operating, the city council doesn't have the authority to spend it.
Well, except for the business, and I agree, I mean, but except for the fact that the money's sitting there, the corporation's not operating at all. I mean,
It's still a business, whether it's operating or not, it's still viable. We've got that on the agenda, something needs to happen with that place, because it's been around for years, and it went, like I said one time here, went from
Well, been around since
260,000.
22, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
if that is disbanded, then that may be the wrong wording for it. What happens to the 49
The local government code says that money goes to the city.
goes to the city?
So Tex, my question is, when we drop over that?
We've had one meeting. That money, any money that was moved out of that account was never voted on by this member. We can't ask Councilwoman Lindsay that. She unfortunately passed away about 6 or 8 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who else would legally be able to authorize that money to be moved, to be honest with you.
Well, we've got that on the hard agenda item coming up.
We do.
So maybe we can save those questions for now and try to get through the budget here first. But that is an agenda item, Mr. Ross, coming up.
All right, questions about anything else on the budget?
Mayor, is that all the expenses that you got up there, or there's more below those?
I'm sorry?
Was that all the expenses, or was that you had, or was there more below?
Well, I mean, there's a few of the police expenditures.
There's 5 pages of it.
Yeah.
David.
Yeah. He said we need to fill out a form and get a copy when he went up to make the copies earlier, so. Yeah.
It's and like I say, it's on the website. You can see it there if you like, and but yeah, if you want to request copies, those are available to you.
I'm sorry I had to step out a while ago, but so I wasn't here for the presentation. But can I speak on a couple of the fire department related agenda or budget items?
We're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there. Well, he turned that off, so that's what I was. I thought.
Oh,
What are you talking about on the budget?
Yeah,
on the budget. Okay, I'm sorry.
It looked like he was turning everything off, so I thought I missed it.
No. I thought you were talking about something else.
Good deal. Okay. Oh, the budget is over.
Yeah.
Can I speak on a few things real quick?
For
Yeah.
the budget?
Yeah.
Yes, for the budget. I'm not here trying to win hearts and minds, and I understand there's a limited budget for the city right now, but I just want to throw some numbers out there just so in the future y'all know what's going on. We have a $3,000 now, it's went up, a $3,000 a year vehicle maintenance budget. Since January 1st, we spent $1,609 to fix a fire truck that fuel pump went out, $1,048 for a truck that it was just a broken wire, but it was throwing codes and doing a bunch of weird things. And we had to put a compressor in one of our engines that was $2,981. So what's that, $4,500-ish in a month and 2 days. And we have a $3,000 budget. We have a budget for building maintenance, it's $1,000. And every January, we have to get our SCBA compressor, the air tested and preventative maintenance done on that machine. It's $1,720. So by February 1st, we've exceeded that budget by almost double. That's not including anything that might go wrong, air conditioner go out, or any maintenance at the station. Last year, we should be doing this every year, but we don't run the truck stuff, we don't have the funding to do it. Last year, on our 2 engines, we had a full preventative maintenance done on those 2 trucks. It was $11,278. It's right, like I said, it's recommended to do yearly, but there's no way that we can do that. Last year, like I said, every year we spent $1,712 to get that compressor maintenance and tested. We used $1,000 last year for that, or to pay a little over half of it. Last year we had an ice machine go out. The city works goes by there and fill their coolers up all the time, which I'm glad that they can use it. But that ice machine went out and it was $442. We had our keyless entry system to our front door that has everybody's codes in it. Went out last year, it was $1,062. Like I said, I understand that I'm not asking y'all to triple our budget or anything like that. I just want it to be made aware that the budget that we're receiving from the city, while we are grateful, it doesn't go very far. And we don't have a lot of active members. We have 20-ish on the roster, but generally we get 5 of our calls good. We probably had 7 at this one, and that's the most we've had in months. So the next thing that's going to get thrown at me is fundraisers. We don't have the people to plan big fundraisers and without knowing that we have the help the day of. And when you start talking about, $12,000 preventative maintenance on 2 engines, a fundraiser don't cover that anyway. Like I said, I'm not asking y'all to change the budget tonight or anything. I'm just trying to make everybody painfully aware of how expensive it is. We haven't bought a fire truck since 2013, and it was by private citizen donation. We do have the Forest Service grant. We should be ordering a truck for that before long, but the city's got off pretty cheap, and there should be some money there. Obviously, it's not, but it's going to get to a point where there's not any money in our budget to do the things we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I got a question about fire department too. It's something we need to resolve. Did the city ever decide whether or not that $100,000 in CDs in January 2024, was that volunteer fire department fund or was that city money?
That voted to be given to the fire department.
Hold on. What did you guys decide? Is it a debt?
No, I think we decided pretty much it was fire department CD that got merged.
Okay.
Yeah, there was one of them, I don't remember the exact number, but one of them, we found out later. The bank told us those were undesignated funds. That's how they ended up with the 2 CDs. And then the council approved those at whatever meeting. But then later on, when everything started coming undone, we found that one of those was a fire department.
Which one? There was one for 48, there was one for 100 and some odd thousand.
The $102,000 one was the fire department.
So where's that debt in this budget?
Right.
Because that's a debt.
Mm-hmm.
It's either a theft or a debt. I don't know what it is, but it's one of the two. So where is it? How much money are you paying on that debt? Did they forgive it? I mean, come on. What are you going to do about it? If it was fire department money and the city used it, you owe the fire department money. That's a debt.
$102,000.
Larry, is that line item, what is line item 4532? It says, it says savings account number, da-da-da-da-da.
That should be, that's at $40,000 when we had to pay the bill and pay,
That $40,000 was taken out of the fire department truck savings account
yeah.
right after Tish and everybody quit.
So
And
this,
so that's owed also. He's budgeted for that. I think it's gonna take a little over a year to pay
Yeah.
back.
So basically, y'all are owed $142,000, is what you're saying.
It's, if I could get all the paperwork to track it all down, it's more than that, but yeah, for sure.
More than that, but we know at least of $102,000 CD, and then the $40,000 that was taken, so $142,000 debt, basically.
No, I think you may mistake. I think what the city said was the bigger one was, and it was about $110,000 or something like that. It was the one that was transferred in June 2024. The one that was transferred in May 2024 was like 48 grand. So what I've heard the city council say is that second one was definitely fire department money. $100,000.
Yeah, that 4532, that's that $40,000 we budgeted into our budget so that we repay that $40,000.
so I think the question is, how are we gonna repay that CD for the whatever?
At least it's a debt, and it ought to be shown someplace in there that you owe, you have debts go over a year. There ought to be someplace down at the bottom, I think the government code requires that. We have these debts that are longer than a year, and maybe we're the line that's gonna start paying them off. But if it's an acknowledged debt, it's gotta show up someplace in your budget.
So basically,
$10 a month.
Tex, what was the number that you had figured to a T that it was?
I don't have
Because we need to pay every single
I
penny.
don't
Yeah.
have that paperwork with me.
Oh, I think he-
That CD account that we're talking about right
Okay,
now,
he may have it.
I have part of this. It's account number 9204. The day of withdrawal, there was $102,887.25 was withdrawn, and there was almost $2,000 penalty because that CD wasn't mature. So add $1,955 to that, and that's your total of that CD.
We were told that night that CD was matured, and getting the paperwork and looking at it, it was nearly a $2,000 hit that we lost that interest because it was pulled out prior to maturity.
Who told you on that?
The bank.
The paperwork from the bank.
What was communicated to me coming from the mayor and from the city secretary.
Oh, the funds will mature? If you pull up the agenda for that meeting, it's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda that it says this is to be paid for from matured CDs.
right.
Now, at that meeting, I tried to speak against that, turn around and say it, and we went ahead and did it anyway, and I tried to vote against it. And you get the copy of the meeting minutes, read all that, but anyway, it was approved. And the council was told that those were matured CDs. The paperwork that he's got a copy of is one I've got one at home. I wasn't aware we were going to get this discussion, I would have brought it with me. But it was I believe a $1,955 and something change penalty that was assessed because that was pulled out prior to its maturity date.
$1,955. So that agenda for that meeting says, new business, discuss the immediate need to purchase a vehicle for the police department. A vehicle. Due to the recent weather event, 2 of our PD patrol units have been totaled and are not suitable for use. A concern for our ability to provide safety and security for our citizens and businesses is of primary importance. Funding for this need is available due to the maturing of CDs.
What was that about $102,000?
It's a little bit more than that.
$102,887.25 was withdrawn, and there was a $1,955.19 penalty. So add those together, and that's
What
how
was
much
the
was
cents?
$102,887.25 and $1955.19.
1955-19.
I know you mentioned something the other day, but is there not a way we can file against bonds?
That's coming up.
It's on the agenda.
I have actually filed against three bonds so far. So I'll be happy to give you the data about that.
Awesome.
Basically, we can get into this CD that was taken from the fire department needs to be shown on our budget as a debit.
Yes, ma'am. It needs to be shown as a debt. Obviously, you can't pay it all back at one time, but you need to acknowledge that's a debt. It's like there's some leases that are.
So we need a line item on the expense side.
I don't know that you need a line item, Mr. Mayor, but it needs to, at least you need to have a line item that you're gonna start paying it if you are, and then out the bottom, you need to say, this is a debt. Because if it lasts more than a year, you can't put it in your budget, because you only budget for a year at a time. But the city needs to be able to disclose, here are the debts that we have that last for over a year. And so that fire department CD could be one of those leases on the police cars would be one of those. So everybody kind of know, hey, guess what? We do have some debt structure behind this budget, and we're servicing that as well as we can. So there needs to be something on it. And I think the law says you have to have a statement of debts that are not going to be paid off within this budget year. You have to show their balances and then refer to what, if you have a line item you're going to pay on it, then you have to say, look at line item 1420 in the budget. And that way people will know, hey, guess what? You owe this much money, you're paying them. And that's great. So something down at the bottom where people can look at it and know, here's our debt structure as well as how much money we think we have too.
So then basically on the debt with this, if I'm understanding correctly, between the 102,887.25, the 1955.19 penalty, and then you said the other was $48,000, that would come up to 100.
The 48,000, we don't know that that's the fire.
That one was matured, yeah, that one was matured,
That one was matured?
yeah.
But I mean, it's still owed to them though, right?
That was a city.
Yeah, that was a city.
That was a city CD, but it was unearmarked, and I verified that with the bank that there was never, in the whole lot of that CD, was there anything attached to it. The previous one, the 102,000, when I called them up, talked to the bank, they said, yes, it's showing right here, this is exactly what it is. That's what, I mean, I'm not trying to sound flippant about it, but it was not hard. It took me less than 2 hours to sit down and track where that money came from and what it was done. And it was, the majority of that was sitting at the bank waiting to talk to them at that time. Total time, actually less than an hour of work to sit down and figure out and get the documentation in hand to provide to the chief, showing exactly where that was and that it was earmarked and wrote down.
So then we know we're at least then the 102, and then when you add in the other line that the mayor was talking about as far as the overrun, then we're basically starting out this fiscal year at a deficit of $220,930.25.
No, you're using the word deficit wrong.
Like a expense, or we owed?
We just got some bills, it's like me paying on my car.
Yeah.
I know how much I can pay on it every year, but it's a 5-year note. So I know I got some debt that I have to put in there, and this is a 1-year budget. How much money are you gonna get this year? How much are you gonna spend this year? But you have to also include, here's our debt that lasts longer than a year. It's not a deficit, we're paying on it.
Okay, so basically about $250,000 in debt.
Maybe.
Like every once in a while ask me, oh, that's 140, that's 150, whatever. I say at least, because the fire truck savings account has had $1,250 a month deposited in it for a long time. it changes year to year on the budget, but nobody goes to the bank and say, hey, let's change this automatic draft from 1,250 to 1,500, or from 1,250 to 800 this year. And so that's, in the past, I don't have access to the full fire truck savings account, but in the past, the city would say, oh, we've been putting 1,250 in here for 6 months, and we're only supposed to put 600, so we'll pull 20,000 out of here to pay this. And so that's happened, I don't know how long, but I've seen enough to know that that has happened. Because they say, oh, we're overpaying this account, we can pull the money from in. But there's nobody was sitting down and saying, oh, we actually can pull this much, they were just pulling how much they needed at the time.
Seems like that happened a lot.
It seems like it did. So that's why every time somebody asks me, so it's this amount, I say, well, it's at least that amount, but I don't know exactly because I don't have all that paperwork. And you would have to go back to budgets for every year and say, oh, they were supposed to be putting in 800 this year and 1,250 this year and 600 this year, and then you'd have to do all the math and see what that account should have in it. And
that amount has fluctuated. When I come on the council, it was $50 a month in 2019. Then it went up when it raised to $600 a month, and then at one point it was up to $1,500 a month. And then it varies year to year, but
Thanks for your questions. Hey, we're still in the public hearing on the budget, and we've got 19 line items in the agenda. So, public hearing.
Okay.
Comments, questions, let's move this along.
All right. Other concerns?
I'm fine, just like a big man, all around. All right,
Let him say it. He wants to get up. You ready, Mr. Mayor?
let me get my hands up and feet under me, okay, now pick me up. I'm fine. More embarrassing than that.
I'm just glad the city attorney wasn't sitting in that chair.
Well, you go talk to me, man. I think it's wrong with the city attorney. No, never more. I'm fine. Thank you for your help, though. Y'all should have been here when I come out on the ice the other day and still there.
I only choked a little bit with that one because I was in Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago and stepped out of the truck. My feet went one direction and my head went the other direction. So,
okay.
I went nowhere.
We gonna blame it on me.
No, I went nowhere near. Don't actually saw his toe caught the cord.
Yeah. Kind of like David. Maybe. Oh, I think I pulled that hanging out of there. Yeah. All right. Well,
Did we get that on video?
No, actually, I don't think I did. I had turned it over there. I wasn't trying to.
there could be some entertainment. Put it on.
I really don't think I did. I think it was up there.
I bet you'll be sore tomorrow.
I know it hurt. I was just.
All right, let's see. So do we need to take any action on that yet?
No, we just you need to close the public hearing.
Okay.
I made a motion, we close the public hearing.
I second.
Motion and second for closing the public hearing. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
I got 8:35 for the minutes. Okay.
Those mics still work. Yeah. Okay, item number 7, second to order the election for May
An
22nd.
interjection right quick.
Yeah.
That motion needs to state what seats or how long they're done, the term is, and
Then I'm gonna amend that motion to state these are for seats 1, 3, and 5
run for a 2-year term.
for a 2-year term. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of the amended motion, say aye. Any opposed, say no. That motion is carried.
And Bobby, they have to, if anybody wants to run, they have to be at have their application to the office by the 12th at what time?
Yeah.
By 5 p.m.
5 p.m. on the 12th?
The 13th.
13th, okay.
But I have 6 days to review the application, so therefore, if anything on the application is not correct, if they come in at the last minute, I won't have time to give it back to have them fill out another application, because I cannot just give them the application back and go, oh, hey, you forgot this, you need to fix it. They've got to fill out a whole other application, it has to be notarized and everything. So if they rush in there at 4:55 and they forgot something, then their name may not be on the ballot when they think they had everything correct.
So basically, they need to get up there and do it if they want to do it.
Yes, ma'am, because I do have 6 days by law to review the applications.
All right, item B. Did we pass that? We did.
No, we didn't talk. The
Oh, he
chief on
interjected.
his part, we didn't.
No. We passed A, right?
Yes, it's.
Okay, item B, the telematic solution, GPS stuff. Chief has spoken to us already about the information there. Any questions or?
I'd like to ask the attorney what's the legality of doing this. Or put some direction on that.
Where do you want me to start? You can do it.
Okay.
You can do it to track. If they're your vehicles, you own them. You can do it for fleet maintenance, watching cars, doing things like that. There is no expectation of privacy in a government-owned vehicle. No constitutional issues. I don't think that you ought to be getting GPS feeds from the police cars on your phones. That's just an
I don't know where
invitation.
that come from, but
I don't know either, but I'm just saying, I don't think that's a good idea. That ought to go to some simple repository over at City Hall, where it can only be viewed, just look out, hey, how much miles are being put on our car, where are they going? If we got one that run up in Corpus Christi, you might want to know why it was there, and those kinds of things. So all this other, the concerns of the chief, I think, are misplaced, if you do that, period. There's no other legal issue that I can think of, and believe me, I have been up and down the horn on this with this city in 2 or 3 days. You can do it, you just gotta be careful with the data that you get. And that data cannot be shared with anybody. It can't be real-time data, it's gotta be over there and I don't wanna put it in the police department, because the police department then keeps you in and out of it. We've been through that once or twice or 12 times before. You need to put it someplace where somebody on the city council can go in there, and it'd be like looking at a certified agenda. You gotta go in and ask, you gotta go in and turn it on, and somebody has to be there with you when you do it.
Can we not just set it up where it's on her computer that way?
You can put it on our computer, sure you can.
I can tell you, I've got experience with this company here, several of these companies, but I have worked with this one specifically. This is a very widely used system. It's used by a lot of companies to track their assets. They have a full disclosure, they have a section that handles electronic logging devices in commercial vehicles. And I have extensive experience with their stuff. It's very reliable. As far as a real time, I wouldn't classify that as real time. You can go in on the computer and look and say, we're wanting to find out if the vehicle driven by Councilman Kennedy is right here, right now, where he needs to be. You can pull that up and look at it, but it's got to be done through a trusted computer. It's got to be someone that has access to that. generally wouldn't be something that I think any of us would go in there and look up and say, we want to know right where it is right this time. But it does keep track of where any said vehicle is, whether it's public works, whether it's, they can put it on, even on the backhoe. You can tell exactly, you can pull it up and say that the backhoe couldn't have backed into somebody's car over here by the rodeo arena, because they were over here by the cemetery digging a water hole, and we tracked it right there. You can do that.
What vehicles are we talking about putting this on?
That is, actually, I have a question here, because this that we got here said I would need bins for each of the 6 vehicles. You did, okay.
I
And
said
that's,
there was about 6.
okay.
I don't know how many vehicles we actually got. Because we keep saying we're gonna get rid of part of them, and I don't even know.
What is that expense? The worker.
The expense, according to this, and this is in your council packet, the hardware is $0 per vehicle. They're providing that to us. Monthly, it's $21 a month per vehicle. They will come and install it at 0 cost to the city, which I can tell you, it takes about an hour to install one of these. Give or take, depending on the specific vehicle. We have a $50 1-year shipping and fees, and a 2-year contract. This is one company that give it to us. I checked with a different company that I've also had experience with, and to be honest with you, I haven't put it in writing because they couldn't even come near us. It was going to be $299 per vehicle for the equipment. We were responsible for installing it. It was going to be $25 shipping per unit, and it was going to cost us $63 a month to do it. They weren't even in the ballpark of what this company is. As far as the equipment, comparable equipment would do the same thing. Would provide us with the same things that I think we're all looking at. But dollars and cents wise, wouldn't even anywhere close. Our upfront cost on 8 vehicles that I checked on several years ago was going to be in the neighborhood of about $3,500.
Again, what vehicles are we gonna put this on?
That is what we have to decide. She put in here the guy responded, I would need the VIN numbers for each of the 6 vehicles. That was just a number I just found out she'd give them. We would have to be the ones to sit down and decide that. Do we want to put one on the backhoe? I can stand here and argue the backhoe really is not a high-speed vehicle. It's not going to get out here, and I don't believe we're going to get any high-speed pursuits with it or anything like that. But my personal opinion is we need to look at this and say we're going to track any piece of equipment this city has their name on that can be tracked. If they can track the sewer, you know what? Track it. We can tell where it is, when it is. If somebody walks in there, comes in and cuts the gate up here and goes off with it, guess what? We've got a thing on there we can pull up and tell them, let the police chief know exactly where it's at, and they can go track it down. My personal opinion is we need to track every piece of equipment that has a computer on it that we can track. I mean, for $21 a month,
It's $21 per vehicle.
per vehicle.
Per vehicle.
$21 per
For 6
vehicle.
of them, it's $126 a month.
A month.
I've got 8.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean, I'm
talking
selling
about
some of them, but
all
I've
these
got 8.
equipment and everything. We're gonna run into quite a bit of money, and we don't have it.
Exactly.
You look at it this way, just like she said, we can't pay certificate pay for $150 a month, but we want to put tracking devices on these cars for whatever dollars a month, $160 a month, whatever it is. And for what reason? What is the reason behind that? I've explained, I was a little bit out of breath when I was explaining it, but I gave y'all my reasons for the police department vehicles. Why are you wanting tracking devices for $160 a month to pay for police department, waterworks, whatever it may be,
a bad idea. I just think at this time with our financial state we're in, that it's not a good idea.
And I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying, my personal opinion is we need to track every piece of equipment we can do. Now, do you have the money to do that? That's a different discussion altogether.
Right.
That's not,
And
I'm
is
not
it in the
addressing that. In the budget or, just period. I'm not saying that we've got the money to do this today. But my personal opinion is I would like to see every piece of equipment we've got have a tractor. But, are we gonna have the money to do that today? Maybe we start and say we're gonna put it in the vehicles that are used every single day. We limit it to 6 vehicles.
Well, at this time, we still can't afford it.
And
That's
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, and see, we've got to look at it, and that's a decision every councilman has to make with themselves.
I have a question for Chief, but also, for the council. Is, from a law enforcement standpoint, is there a template of some sort as far as procedurals to address some of the issues that you talked about the monitoring, as far as?
Well, like I said, and Mr. Hamilton stated it as well, if you put it into a system and Tex wants to go up to the city hall and say, hey, I want to see this tracking for these days, and he can log into a computer, then, okay, so be it. That's fine. I've got body cameras that track my guys or me or whatever, and that tracks every little movement that they do. And I can go in there and I can watch it live if I want to. So I have that ability. I already have that in my cars. But that's for me. That's for my own business. That's for officer safety reasons. Now, if it was put into a civilian's hands, whether someone hacks your phone or hacks the system at the city hall, they're going to give up my officer's locations, and that's an officer safety issue. And I don't want my guys out there and then John Smith know where he's at if he decides to hack into the city hall server. Do I have a problem with there being some type of secure system up there and not the secretary's computer? No, that's not secured. I mean, people can break into that as well. Do I have a problem with something being there to go in each month and say, hey, what was this down the road when you're able to afford it? No, absolutely not. My guys are not going to take those cars where they don't need to be. They're not going to take them where I tell them they can't take them. I don't take mine anywhere but home and work. So, am I against it? Yes, because I have reasonings for it. And I stated those reasonings.
Well, the reason I even ask, and I would do this for the council as well, for some kind of pattern or some kind of, that we can do as far as policy is concerned. I don't know if you have a policy in place related to any of those kinds of things. I feel relatively confident that we don't have a policy relating to those things, so those policies are going to have to be implemented.
My policy is it's not.
Hang on just a second. So you're sitting here talking about, and this has nothing to do with you, you're sitting here talking about policy, but where did policy get us with the last group of people? We had Connors and Dallas. This has nothing to do with you. This is.
No, I'm just saying policies are going to have to be created. You can't create something and not have some policies for guidelines. So, I mean,
We have probably the best police policy manual I think I've ever seen in the last department that was here.
Well, but we don't have a policy related to that. I'm just saying, we're going to have, as a council, we're going to have to develop what those policies are so that they will be used accordingly and appropriately, as Mr. Hamilton has suggested, that Chief has suggested. We can't just willy-nilly throw it out there and say, we're going to do this. We got to develop a policy and say, this is what we're going to do.
And my policy, as far as the police department goes, is strictly geared towards my body cameras, where I can track it, and it's for me and me only. I'm the only administrator on the body camera website, so I'm the only one that can track those. And it is a very vague policy, yes, but I have a policy saying that I can look at that if I need to.
set on Bobby's computer. I mean, I don't wanna come to my phone, cause it really ain't none of my business where y'all are at on the call.
And that's what I was getting at, and no disrespect at all, but it's not anybody's business what undercover investigations that we're doing, or what kind of human trafficking investigations we're doing, if they were to come up. And that's not y'all's concern. And again, no disrespect for that, but that's a police matter. And so that's my only thing is the live data. I don't think there should be any type of live data on there. If you're going to track, it should be put into a secure location. You have to log in so we know who's logging in to look at it. You have to have a reasoning for it, why you want to look at it. And if you want to go look for the last month where that car has been, where it's gone, but if I have a car sitting on a drug house and Ms. Allison comes up and says, hey, man, where's your car sitting over there for 5 hours last month? Ms. Allison, I can't tell you. It's a police matter. You will have to be okay with accepting that because it's an active investigation. And that's no disrespect to anybody, but I'm not going to disclose any information on active investigations. If I want to sit in front of a drug house for 5 hours, and that's my investigation. It's not. That's a police matter.
Can we set it up to where it's only Bobby?
Tell people to put it only on this thing, I guess you can. This computer, you can find out, can these people just put it on this computer, just have to have login information, then the city policy would be, you have to make a request to go down, you have to do it when Bobby's there. So she like to get out from in front of her computer, you don't have to look at it, so people are looking at it. That's it.
I got a question. He was talking about on stakeout, he's unmarked car. Just gonna put the GPS on the one vehicle they're gonna use to stake out with.
I mean, and again, if you want to put them on all that, I understand what you're saying. If you come to me and ask me why I'm sitting in front of a house, and I'm going to flat out tell you it's a police matter, it's an active investigation, and I can't disclose any information. So if you're okay with that, for me not disclosing any information to you, then that's fine. But you have to be okay with that because I cannot disclose that information on what we're doing. And so that's my only concern with it is when I tell you that, are you going to get mad? I mean, because it's a legal matter at that point. It's an active investigation. So I'm not going to disclose that and put myself, my department, or in any type of bad way for my criminal cases. So that's just what we're going to have to understand, is that a lot of those answers will be criminal investigation. I can't disclose that.
I wouldn't do them out of town anyway, would y'all?
No, look, if you want to see where I'm going from a day-to-day basis and see what streets I'm driving up, jump the car with me. Come to my house at 7 a.m., you can ride with me all day. I don't care. But if you want to go look at it each month and see where I go, that's fine. I have no issues with that. I can be very transparent with that because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not taking these cars to Dallas, not taking them to go eat at Chuck E. Cheese with my kids or whatever it may be, or going shopping, whatever that ended up being. But
And that was my understanding, is they would want to report at the end of the month, because the gentleman did say that they could run, there was a report that could be ran that said, this is the maintenance that need to be done on the vehicles, these are the miles, and these are the locations that the vehicles have been at. And that was my understanding, and I did ask him if a report could be generated for the council each month, and he said yes. And that was my understanding, was the main thing was they wanted to report each month where the vehicles have been, and if there was an accident then, or something happened major, and somebody said, oh, your city vehicle did this, we could go back and go, no, our city vehicle was on the other side of town, it wasn't over
and
here.
that's perfectly okay, but when I'm doing backgrounds on people that I have to hire, and these people don't do secure share, and you come question me why Sherman, doing background. I mean, there are certain things I can and cannot disclose, but I'm not gonna take my truck to go do a background check on somebody that I'm potentially gonna hire. I'm not gonna, if I'm going and buying stuff for the department at GT Distributors, I don't think I should have to use my personal vehicle to go do that. So when someone calls and complains, well, I saw your marked patrol unit or your unmarked patrol unit in Dallas on a Tuesday. Okay, I mean, there should not be, now if I'm over there for 12, 15 hours, you more than likely probably working a security job. And that's where all this is coming from. And I understand that. But if I go to Dallas for a quick trip and go to GT Distributors to buy equipment for the police department, then no one needs to be upset because I'm not gonna drive my
They're
personal
gonna know
vehicle.
that anyways because they're gonna approve the equipment before you go.
Exactly,
So
so
that
it shouldn't come into
become a
question. I'm just saying, someone will see that vehicle and they will do what they do and they will call and complain. Or, hey, I saw this vehicle in Dallas or Greenville or Bonham or McKinney or whatever it may be. So you will have that. And if you want to come question me, that's fine. I'll have you an answer. And, you know, that's just my concerns with the GPS is people are going to complain if I'm seen driving around Sherman doing a background investigation or Denison or heck, I almost had to go to Limestone County to do a background on Johnny. But I didn't have to, so that's a 3-4 hour drive. So there are things that I will be going out of town for, and I will send marked patrol units for certain things too. So it has to be understood, and you know, we will be helping the county out as well, just like they help us out. So if my cars are in Avery on a major incident, it's like there was a shooting last year, officer-involved shooting up north by the river. The OPD was there, and they will be there while I'm in office as well, because we will help those guys out because they help us out a lot.
Yeah.
So anytime things like that happen, they will go.
All right, any other questions? What's the wish of the council?
I make the motion we do the tracking devices on the 6 cars that she stated.
I'll second.
Motion and second to install GPS devices on, we're talking about all the city vehicles now? Not just,
I would just say whatever ones are being used.
Specify which vehicles.
PD
Y'all are
vehicles,
only
city
using 2,
vehicles.
right? See, how many does the water department have? 2 or 3?
Well, actually, I take that back. I used 4 last week. I used the truck, I used the unmarked white car, and I used the white Charger, and I used the silver one.
The city, I think, has 3 vehicles, I believe.
Okay, well, I make the motion we put it on 7.
All right, you okay with that motion, Jim? I'll second. All right. Motion and seconded to put GPS trackers on 7 of our vehicles.
Hang on. How do we need to word it where it's only her computer? Do I need to add that where it's only on her computer?
Probably be good to say with no live feed and the data flows to the city secretary's computer.
Okay, well then, I make the motion, we put it on 7 city vehicles. And there's to be no live feed to the council. It's all to go strictly to the city secretary's computer.
All right, we good with the amended motion? All right. All in favor of this motion, say aye.
I want to ask a question.
Hold on.
Interject right quick before we do this. It's 7 things at $21 a month, $147. Where in our budget are we going to get
budget's gonna change just a little bit because we gotta put our debt stuff in there, so that's gonna change some, so. I mean, we'll have to, if we do much of this kind of stuff, we're gonna have to do some more trimming in other areas.
And we need a budget.
$1,176 came down at the end of this budget that's proposed tonight. 1176. That's $147 a month by 8 months.
Any other discussion?
Can the public comment on this?
Well,
Just my thing, and just from a safety standpoint from the public, because I'd heard some talk earlier about there was like some certifications and things that we don't have the money for right now. I think that maybe y'all might want to table this till the next meeting after y'all get your budget together and figure out, y'all need to triage what's more important, because honestly, I understand why, I mean, I'm just going to say what the elephant in the room is. Y'all want to know where the police cars were because y'all thought the police cars were getting taken places that they shouldn't have been by the last department. So that's why basically they're wanting to track this new department that we have now. And I get that. I get why everybody's upset about that.
You're
But
kind of assuming a little bit. I want to know where all of our vehicles are at, not just him.
okay, and I got you. I mean, but let's be honest. That's where the impetus from it came.
He is not the last department, so I'm not going to hold that all the way.
No, that's what I was saying. I said the last department.
Now, where you wanna know when, if somebody's joyriding in the city pickup during the day.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. And I get that, but I'm just saying I'm saying the last department is the impetus behind this, and I think we all know that. But I just, as far as knowing where the city vehicles are and everything, I realize that is important, but before you spend that much money a month, if you're worried about the city vehicles, get a couple of air tags for the city vehicles, and the city secretary can track them. Those are cheap, and you don't have to pay a monthly fee. I mean, just a thought. I'm just saying that. Well, I'm just saying that, I mean,
are we ready for the question?
do y'all have the money is what I'm saying.
Bobby, is the money there?
I haven't seen a budget. Is the money in the bank right now? We got some money in today, so yeah, today the money's there.
But we also established $250,000 in debt too.
My question is, are you
And
just
I
worried?
haven't seen a budget, and I don't know what all we still have to pay, like he says we have, how much do we have to pay?
Are you just worried about vehicles going to the wrong place, or speeding, or are you worried about theft? Are you maintenance? Because if you're just gonna put it on this vehicle and that vehicle, then it's not gonna track your maintenance on all the vehicles. It's not gonna track theft. You didn't put the most expensive piece of equipment the city has is the backhoe. You're not putting one on the backhoe. We've got, a couple, in a year, we're gonna have a $500,000 fire truck sitting over there. You're not putting one on a $500,000 fire truck. So you need to establish what you're doing in the store, and you need to create a policy around it. Because putting it on the city secretary's computer for police vehicles is not a good idea. He needs to be the administrator of the police vehicles and generate a report every month. Because there's officer safety issues with anybody else. Not specifically Bobby, but if Bobby quits and you hire somebody else and they're selling people where the police are so they can go do their nefarious activities, you can't. I mean, I'm not saying Bobby would do it, but the next person might. So you need to establish a policy around it, figure out, in my opinion, it needs to be on every vehicle if you're going to put it on one, because you don't know which one's going to get stolen. And you need to figure out if you have the money to do that.
Something happens to the cars, y'all don't come back to the council griping at us.
No, I mean, I totally understand where you're coming
Just like y'all
from.
were griping at us about that, the other police department going to Dallas and everything. Y'all came up to us, said it was our fault because we didn't watch over that stuff.
No,
Now, here we are trying to do it, and we are still griping.
No, actually, I think it's not griping at y'all over it. Honestly, please don't take it that way. I'm just saying we don't have the money. That's all I'm saying. At this point, we do not have the money.
If you put it on 4 police cars for that purpose, then he can take the 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th police car to Dallas and you never know. So what is the point of putting it on some cars and not others?
And I want to reread this, just to reiterate in my statement.
Okay, we have a call for the vote. We have to suspend discussion. Okay, as the, correct me if I'm wrong, but as the motion was stated, vote to place GPS tracking systems on 7 of the city vehicles, and have that tracking data sent to the city secretary's computer.
And it not be a live feed.
And not be a live feed. Does that get it? All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
No.
We'll have a roll call count. Dakota? Chris? I think we followed suit, Teresa?
No.
Melissa?
No.
Keep the text?
No.
All right, the noes have it, 3 against, 2 for. Motion failed.
Yes, it'll be my fault.
I'll make sure everybody knows.
Okay, listen to it no more.
Item C, requiring city employees, including police department employees, to clock in daily. I know that we tried that once before, it didn't go over so well, but people usually clock in wherever they work. It's just, maybe it's a little hard, under our circumstances, but be that as it may, what do you guys want to do?
Where would they clock in at?
They actually clock in on the phone.
ADP app, I use it every day. I mean, it's great.
How much does that cost?
It's part of our payroll system.
I think it was 2,000 on the budget, if I remember the line item, when you had it up there.
It's part of what you already pay for?
Yes, it's part of our payroll system.
ADP is
So
payroll.
there's no added expense to us to do this?
No, they just have to download an app and use it.
Kind of like using your weather app, download it when you're good to go. Any discussion?
So this is part of our ADP system. We've already got everything in place to do this. We can.
Yep.
As far as I know, everybody's already clocking in except for our public works. They're turning in time sheets.
Discussion?
What is the policy of clocking in? Do you clock in when you get to work or when you're at home?
It's probably when you get to work.
So what if we catch someone doing it?
Then we bring them up here and talk to them, say, you gotta stop, or get another job.
Then how are you gonna prove, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
unless you're,
Billions of dollars get wasted.
I promise you that ADP app has location services on it. You can see where they clock in.
you can see where they clock in at?
I don't know that for certain, but I'm fairly certain it could.
Well, you
Well, and work
The
on
chief's
it.
gonna
You
look
can
at it
actually
right
probably set up a geofence that they can only clock in, which that's not the greatest idea because if they need to go to a water leak or whatever, but you can probably set up a geofence where they can only clock in.
Do you know how many times they document that they go to a water leak in the middle of the night?
Probably 0.
Well, and they should be
Yeah,
putting
but most of
them
the time
on
they
work
don't.
orders, should be putting
Because
work
guys are
orders
working
in.
at,
And they don't do it necessarily at night, but I mean, if they go to a job and do something, they need to submit a work order showing that they got that call and they worked in. And it's easy enough to write the time down, but if they clock in on the phone, I mean, that should be there.
On the phone, you're gonna have more accurate times.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a policy that they do clock in on their phone. This business of just going to work and not getting paid for it's for the birds.
Well, you know, it's been done that way for like 100 years, so I mean,
I don't
you
care.
know, I'm with you, I'm just saying, you know, breaking somebody's habit is,
Is
It's
there,
not,
is there
it's not,
some,
it's not hard to break a habit, trust me.
is there
Especially
some?
When you
somebody's
start
paycheck's
knocking that check,
attached
that
to
habit
it.
breaks real
Let me
quick.
ask you a question. Is there some kind of legal, can the city be held legally responsible if an employee does not clock in?
I don't think so.
Okay, okay.
well, I think most of that stuff about governed by the Wage Act and those kinds of things too, isn't it?
I don't even want to get to that because I don't know. But if you have an employee and you tell them to clock in and they don't, then you're the boss. And he said, guess what? First time we're going to warn you, second time we're going to give you 3 days off, third time you don't have a job anymore. I'll bet you get compliance on that. Because I know I would. Start clocking in on there.
So are the water guys using that out?
No, they're the only ones that aren't, they're writing their times
All the
down
others are.
on time sheet. Just the water guys are using the time
So
sheet.
you're the only one using it? He's the only one using it?
Right, $8,000.
Well, Bobby and.
Bobby and Evan use it.
Bobby and Evan do.
And,
Evan.
James,
Oh, and James, yeah.
And here's another thing, I don't know if this will matter or not, but it's somewhere in the policy that every time we answer a call, whether it be by phone or coming here for 15 minutes, that's 2 hours. So if I answer a phone call and you want me to clock in, do you want me to clock in for that 2 hours? I mean, because I answer phone calls a lot. Weekends, nights, I answer a lot of phone calls. So if I'm clocking in and I answer a phone call and I'm at my house and I'm handling something over the phone that I'm not necessarily needed here in the city, then how does that work? Because, and I understand what you're saying is how do we know where they're clocking in and all that, but I also answer phone calls at my house, and I handle some things over the phone. And y'all heard it earlier, this phone does not stop ringing. A lot of times it's spam calls, but sometimes it's not. So, I just wanna know where I need to start clocking in for those phone calls, because I don't clock in for those phone calls, but if you want me to start clocking in for them, and I'm at my house answering these phone calls, then I will be shown at my house answering phone calls on the clock for 2 hours. And that's in the policy. But if we get called out, it's 2 hours.
Whose policy? The last
Police
group
department
said,
policy.
Police department policy.
is it everybody has the same policy?
Police department policy.
that
Go
policy,
there, everybody. Paris, everybody.
Yeah, yes, that is pretty much when I was the SWAT team leader in Fannin County, if I got a call out, it was an automatic 2 hours. It doesn't matter if I stayed there for 10 minutes or 6 hours, I automatically got those 2 hours.
Does the city have a policy that says they'll pay you?
I don't get paid for it anyway, that's why I don't clock in for them, so.
Well, that's not the question. You're saying that you have a policy, but it's a police department policy. The last time I checked, the chief of police didn't sign the checks. So clock in all you want to. If the city doesn't have a policy that says we'll pay you for those 2 hours, they don't have to pay you.
No, that's fine, my question is, if I do answer those calls, then you'll want me to start clocking
Well,
in
chief,
for
that's not
that.
what you said. You said if I clock in, I get 2 hours. So is it about money or is it about clocking
No,
in?
it's
One
about
of the two,
clocking in.
one of the two, clocking in. If they say clock in, if you're on business, then maybe they want you to do that. If it's about billing, then it's something else. So which is it?
All I'm trying to say is.
Just say it,
if
because
I
you've been
got-
redundant.
I
Just
did-
say it.
I
Just
did.
say it.
If I get called, our policy is that any call out is 2 hours on your time sheet.
Chief, listen to me once again. Listen to me once again. Your policy is a police department policy.
Right.
That doesn't make any difference to these guys.
I understand that.
So I don't need to hear that. What I need to hear is, if you're gonna clock in, are you gonna bill the city for the time? Because the city doesn't have a policy that says they have to pay.
My question was, well, do they want me to start clocking in for those?
Well, which question are we
It
gonna
doesn't-
answer
it
first?
doesn't matter
Which
if they-
question are we gonna answer first? Is it money? Do you want the money if you clock in, or are you just upset?
I'm
because you
not
have to
asking,
pay?
I'm not asking.
Okay,
for
then
any
clock
money.
in, because you ain't gonna get paid for it until the city says we're gonna pay you for it.
But that's fine, I'm not asking for any other pay. I'm
It's-
just asking,
9:18, we've been on this, y'all are letting people talk in the audience, we've been through this before, we've been through this before, we've been through this before. Manage the dang meeting, get to the agendas, and let's talk about it. You're the guys that get to make the decisions. You have a policy on that, but you will not follow it. You have a policy on how long people can talk and when they can talk. The policies don't seem to sit very well with you. Follow your policies, set one up, and do it. Or let's have a motion to quit this tonight and come back another time.
Make a motion, we require all city employees to clock in daily using the ADP app.
I'll second that.
Motion and second for all city employees, clock in using the ADP app. Any other questions? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no.
No.
We'll do a roll call.
No.
Dakota, Chris?
Trixie, yes.
Teresa? Melissa? Dex? Yes. Did you say no?
I said yes.
Okay. 3, 4, and 2 against. Motion carries. Item D, firework restrictions. No fireworks after midnight. I passed out the current ordinance related to the fireworks. You see the timing that is there. It meets things that you guys were concerned about. If everything is okay and you don't need to amend it or do something different, we've already passed that ordinance.
I've not had a single person complain about the ordinance we got right now. I've not heard anything from shooting firearms or firearms.
Somebody this afternoon was firing off that
But
Tannerite.
Tannerite or something like that.
That's outside the city limits, we have no control over that.
It's outside the city limits, but it's something like make me jump out of my pickup.
Yeah.
I was so close to it at one time.
And
All day long.
the sad part about it is we have got a very jagged city limits. There are places you can go over here and legally shoot Tannerite off in the county, and every person that it affects around you is in this city. We legally can do nothing about it. I know I've sat over here at the Bogata Community Church while they have interrupted church services by just continuously setting it off, and there's legally not a thing we can do about it.
All right.
I think the concern about this policy is, or this ordinance is, on the January the 1st, they, every other time is till 11 p.m. And on January the 1st, it's till 1 a.m., am I correct?
It
Or
is.
the 31st.
Yeah, the 31st, yeah.
So it's 11/11 on all holidays except for New Year's Eve, and it's till 1 a.m.
Well, everybody's usually up that late celebrating, you know.
No, they're not.
Everybody, not everybody. But most of us have those days off, so if you want to change that, if you want to edit that, that's certainly up to you guys. But that's the only one that, you know, sits outside the periphery.
I didn't put this on the agenda, I just know what was said in the previous meeting.
All right, what you want to do?
we don't want to change it, I think no action, a motion for no action would be appropriate.
I make a motion, we take no action on this. I'm fine with it just like it is.
I second.
Motion and a second, take no action. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, I only heard 3 votes. So, I guess, are you guys abstaining from that vote?
I said aye.
Said,
I'm sorry?
I said,
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that's unanimous. Motion carries. Motion passed. Red River Valley Egg Farm contract and taxes. I don't know who placed this on here, I didn't, so.
oh, I did, but my opinion don't matter, so, y'all do what y'all want to.
What was it on here for? I'm not aware of the contracts we've got.
We're in a contract with the egg farm till 30-something, would have to look at it to see, but the only revisions to the contract has to do with how much it costs for producing water.
So they buy,
That can be done every year.
they buy their water from us? They get their water from the city?
Yes.
And it's an annual contract, it gets renewed every year?
Yeah.
City council approve it every year?
Well, no, it's not. It's a contract, got ever how many 30-year term or something like that. I don't know if it's,
How does it change every year then? Is it built into the contract?
well, I don't know. I have to look at the contract and see if it's renewable every year just automatically. I don't remember that language, but it's quite a long document. But I can find out.
Okay, in the interest of moving things along tonight, can we get copies of that contract, put into every council packet, and the council will look at and move this to the next meeting, so we can sit down and look at it and know what we're talking about here?
If that's what you want to do. It's
I
quite a
want a
long
copy of that.
contract.
I want a copy of that contract. I've been on this council 7 years and never seen that contract.
I think you mentioned to me you knew something about it.
I know some details about it, but I've never seen a copy of it that
Well,
actually
a while ago, you said you knew nothing about it, so I'm just trying to reiterate, you know something about it, or you do not?
I know some details about it.
Okay.
They turned around and said what happened when I come on the council 7 years ago. There's also been a lot of innuendo going about what the egg farm does and does not do, and I honestly don't know what the contract says. That's why I'm asking for a copy of that contract, and this to be put on next month's agenda.
Well, you've been on here 7 years and you haven't seen a contract.
No.
So are you gonna make a motion?
I'm trying to
Okay.
make a motion that we put this on next month's agenda, and that we get a copy, that each council member gets a copy of this contract to look over, so we know what's going on. It has been looked at by several of our city attorneys. I don't know if you've seen a copy of it.
I have not.
Then I would like to also request a copy to go to our current city attorney. And we can address whatever issues are coming up or about it. I don't know anything about that, but in the interest of moving things along tonight, let's put that on next month, and that's my motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and second to place this on next month's agenda and get all the council members and the attorney copies of the contract. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried. Initiation of a city audit. You have information from last, I think it was last meeting, we passed out the information related to how many audits that we needed and
You also have a short summary of it in your packet this month, if you didn't bring all this with you from last time. This is
discussion? I'm just looking at this, getting first. Okay, this is to actually do all 6 audits?
Yes.
Okay.
Option A is.
I see 2 different options here, I'm just,
And then there's option C on the next page, it says.
Nothing's moving forward.
he says in here on one of these, he will not be issuing opinions. Just a minute here.
This is the only person that I've called like 6 different auditors, and this is the only one that I have that has called me back and said that they are willing to do an audit for us. All the rest of them are trying to stand.
The one that we
No
had,
budget
over-
line.
and the one that we had over in Paris has
Trying to
not
stand.
turned us down. So, Mr. Attorney, I've got a question for you here. Option C says another way to just get current. They do a current year end audit, reconcile the opening balances for that year only. And it says basically just ignore from September 2023 and back. Does that get us in compliance with what, I mean,
Nobody knows what the Attorney General is going to interpret as being an audit. It says annual audit. So if you look at the various words that are used in the statute, it says if you don't have an audit for that year, then you're not going to be able to raise your tax rate. It doesn't say if you have unaudited years in the past, then we're not going to do it. So you might be able to squeeze by with getting a 1-year audit. Maybe. Nobody knows the answer.
okay, so according to this will be $22,500 to $30,000 to go with that option, option C. Option B is $52,500 and option A is $90,000.
Half price for 20 to 24. Half of the price on the engagement letter since.
Right, but on the last line, it says total cost of this option will be $52,500. And then, so we go with option C. That gets us back doing an annual audit right now. I suggest we go with that. Then if as the attorney said, the Attorney General hasn't come back and said anything yet. They may come back and say, no, you can't do that. We're at least gonna be 1 year down at that point if they make us go back and do all of those. If not, it's starting coming from this point going forward. At some point, we've got to start doing something for right here. If we don't do something a year from now, we're gonna be 7 years, or 6 years.
If we don't do something right now, our taxes are gonna be right until we do it right. And you keep putting it off.
And that's what you're pretty much sitting there trying to do it halfway like the city's been doing for years and years.
I'm looking at what we've got money. We don't have $90,000 sitting here to do audits with. But I'd love to go back and audit every single one, absolutely. Show me where you can get that budget, and show me $90,000 and I'll vote for it. I mean, I don't see where we can fit $90,000 in there.
Well, we better find it somewhere because it's just like when y'all wanted to raise the taxes. Whoop, that bit us. And y'all knew, because he sat there and told you we were going to get repercussions for it. And all three of y'all still voted for it.
Sure did.
And now we're worried about, and we're trying to come back to this and still do it halfway. At some point, we got to do
Then
something.
make a motion. You got a better idea, make a motion.
Where's the money gonna come from? Where's the $90,000 gonna come from?
I mean, we could just sit here and keep going.
Where is the $90,000 gonna gonna
I mean,
come from?
we need to figure out a way somehow, like sitting here like, oh,
It
yeah,
ain't gonna come out of the clouds.
y'all are full of ideas, y'all tell me.
I think we're in the same boat with option B. I mean, I'm not even sure where you're gonna find an option C. I mean,
But we got to do something.
well, sure, and I agree with that, but I think maybe y'all need to take a look at the budget and start doing some cutting.
How about let's sell some police cars? We got
That's
what,
a good
4 sitting
idea.
over there that y'all aren't using? Y'all got 4 sitting over there?
Three right out here.
That'll go towards the budget. Or we can give the fire department their money that was taken from them.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If we go with the cheaper option here, and we do this 1-year audit and then reconcile the open balances, they come back and say that's not acceptable, where do we go from there? What do we,
The statutory remedy is you can't raise your tax rate. You have to keep using the same, the lowest tax rate that's available. That's the statutory remedy. Now, we're all like, what if? And I don't know. I'll tell you this, zero ain't an effort. The last thing you want to do is have somebody call the Attorney General and say, you know what? You haven't done anything in 9 years. Nothing. You haven't had an audit in 9 years. You're going to go, really? So that's not going to look good, factually. Legally, nobody can tell you what the impact of that's going to be because nobody knows. The law just came into effect this year. So nobody has stepped on their foot yet and said, hey, we're going to challenge it, we're going to do something. So just aside from what the Attorney General will do, it might be a good idea to know where your money went. For CPA to just tell you, here's what it looked like to me, here's what I thought. It's not a good look. Of course, this city's not in the business of borrowing money right now, but your bond rating would be pretty low. Pretty low. If you hadn't had an audit, nobody's gonna loan you any money. So you're at the catch-22 situation. You don't have any money, but you need some money to get out. And that's the problem. Is an audit in this budget? Is there money in the audit for an audit in this budget?
Yeah, there's $25,000.
And this guy says he'll do the Class C for how much?
22.5 to 30,000?
I have a question. If we do C for now, and then later in the year, we find that, hey, we got more income than we thought, can we go back and ask him to do these other years?
Well, sure you can. You know, you're gonna get into the budget, you're gonna find that, hey, this was under budgeted, this was over budgeted, that's why you move money around. But you should do it consistent with what the law permits online. But if you get in there and you say, hey, guess what? We were able to save a lot of money, we didn't have to buy this, we didn't have to spend the money on this, we've got some extra money over here. What if you put that in the line item for an audit, and we hired this guy to do last year as well? That's completely acceptable. You just gotta have some money in this year's budget to do it.
So we have 25,000?
Well, we're supposed to, if the money had been handled, we'd have probably, counting this year, we'd had about $75,000 in there.
I make a motion that we go with option C for now.
I second.
All right, we have a motion for option C. Other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right, ayes have it. Motion carries. Item F, initiation, oh, we just did that, sorry. Placement of city Bogata identification on all city and police vehicles. I think police vehicles already labeled, aren't they? Except for your undercover part. The city vehicles, I've been told that they bought placards, you know, to put on them, but that's been a while back. so
On
I-
city trucks.
On city trucks. So we addressed it a while back.
They're not on there?
Hadn't
No,
been-
it's
No,
not.
they're not on there. Can we ask Evan to address that and let us know?
What do y'all want to do?
Yeah, he's the guy.
This has been brought up and discussed. We said, we want the public works vehicles.
It's about the time we got the newer vehicles. That's when we talked about having the names.
So this has already been discussed.
This has been discussed in
So why are
past.
we talking about it again?
Good
Because
question.
it hadn't been done.
Because it
Because
hasn't,
it ain't nothing's happened to it.
because it hasn't been done. I think we need to ask Evan to make sure this gets done. It's, obviously, we're gonna have to go to him and say, we want to get this done. Obviously, I believe he's the man that's gonna get it done.
What vehicles do you want it on?
There ain't
The three
nothing,
that they drive?
they don't need it on the police car, but put it on all the water department vehicles.
Yeah,
There's three of them in
there's
there.
three, I believe there's
One of
three.
them has it.
One of them does have it.
Well, it needs to be in bigger lettering.
Yeah.
It's a little circle deal.
Well, that's what they put on all of them, is that dumb little circle.
Well, it needs to be something big that can be seen.
I don't know if they purchased it, but, I've been told that they have been, they just haven't put them on.
Well, let's have Evan do it then. And move right
We
along.
need to have that addressed first thing in the morning.
So if this has already been addressed, do we need to make any kind of motion or anything on it? I mean, it's already been addressed.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, we've addressed this. I mean,
What do you expect to have to see if he?
Then let's move right along.
make a motion, we take no action on item G.
Motion, do we have a second?
I second.
Motion and a second, take no action on item G. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. Status of bond claim involving the mayor with Western Bond.
I discovered about 6 weeks ago that there are several positions in the city that are bonded. 4 police officer positions, including the chief is bonded, the mayor, the city secretary, and the city water clerk are bonded. There's a claim filed on the mayor's position with emergence. It was filed in November. And I got a request for more data in December, and it deals with we've already talked about the sum, these CDs.
that's $75,000 for all three positions? Or
No, $75,000 each
position.
And you said the status on the mayor's was
pending.
pending?
That's the ETA, or is that just something that shows up one day?
They'll just send me something one day, say we need some more. The last indication I had was that they're gonna send the mayor everything that I sent and get his response, and I don't know what's been done on it. So.
Have you got anything on?
I got something today.
But there's no action we need to take on this item.
Well, that was just kind of an update you guys.
Okay. So if they approve it, though, that's $75,000 that they would pay off for the mayor's.
Not necessarily, that's as much as they'll pay us. Like having
Oh,
your
it's
car
the
insurance
cap.
$25,000 and the damage is 12, they'll pay 12. So that's what they're doing right now.
So if $50,000 missing, okay.
Moving on.
All right. Item I, adoption of council policy for the city. You have a copy of that in your packet.
Is this the same one we voted on here?
You've looked at it, I don't know if you voted on it.
It looks like most of these hover around already the state things, state regs, not necessarily every single one of them, but instructions on how we're to do things, even with recusal and absenteeism and abstentions. Public comment, executive sessions.
If in the future there were some that needed to be added, can they be added to this?
Most city councils look at their policy every year, usually right after the elections, and the new folks are on board. They just have an agenda item just to review policy, and that's a good time to update it too. So like in June, every year just stick it on there, look at the city council policies and see if there's something you like, see if there's something you don't like, and update it.
Well, I want to point out something here that I really, really like. It says, on the second page there, it says financial statements are not part of the consent agenda and must be considered separately. I was actually going to ask that to be put on a future agenda, but that's taken care of right here. And the one right below that, it says, money transfers between accounts or to pay vendors must be consistent with the adopted existing budget for the city. So I'm gonna make a motion that we adopt these, council policies for the city of Bogata that has been prepared and presented to us by our attorney.
I'll second it.
Motion and second to accept the guidelines for the city policies as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Resignation, item J, resignation and replacement of the city judge. As you know, you should have that in your packet. Judge Alex Davidson has taken on a full-time responsibility with another
say, I believe, that he already had a lot of arrows in his quiver, but has respectfully resigned the position as the city judge. He did say that he would be willing to help us out, in the interim, until we decided on what, of course, that would depend on what his schedule would allow. I do not know of any city judges. Some of you may.
The thing about the city judge is we can hire anyone to be that city judge, and they go to judges school to get it. You don't have to have someone who is a existing judge to do this. And I don't know the exact statute that it is, but I do know that you can hire someone who is not a judge. They go to Austin for school. I believe it's a week long.
I'm not sure if it's a week or longer than that, but
It
anyway.
might be longer than that. I seem to remember it was a week, but it's been 5 years since we looked at that. So, but I think if we're going to do this, we need to open this up, say if you're interested in being a judge, come to City Hall and apply for it.
Well, do we need to send out a notice for anybody interested in that kind of position? I mean, just like we would any other job?
That's what I would think. And it's not,
Do we have it budgeted? Or is this something we're gonna find in the clouds too?
it's an existing line item. We've been paying the judge for 5 years. That's budgeted in every budget we've got.
You know how much it is to send someone to school? You just guess.
No clue.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, typically those things
You have
run
to
about
send someone to
$500,
school
but
when you get, when they get hired, we've got to figure out what that is and find out the cost of it. I'm sure in the last 5 years, that cost has went up.
If we don't got it budgeted, where are you gonna find the money?
Gentlemen, we're in the process of putting a budget together.
So we
Do
should
you want to stand here and
budget
shoot holes
done.
at me all night, or do you want to come up with some solutions?
I will. I don't have a problem doing that. Remember, you've been on here for 7 years. Remember that. You've been on here the longest. Where have you been in all of this? Exactly. You've been over there in that chair not saying a word.
let's take to what we're trying to do, guys. So we need to advertise for a city judge position at the city hall. What do you guess? Would that be the first thing we need to do?
We need to speak to Jay, that's your first.
We, may or may not get somebody with, like Alex's, resume, but, I do remember reading, I mean, the mayor can do that.
The mayor is the default judge. But a justice of the peace that's elected, there's one of those statutes that says they can also be a city judge, because the one in Huntington is. So I happen to know that. So justice of the peace that serves your local, could come in. Still has to go to municipal court school, because there's some differences in it, but that's an idea.
If we have those things, and JP be the one to have to do that, right? If you had court for whatever, traffic and all that stuff, you gotta go to JP, right? She currently doesn't have an office here, but it's in Clarksville. So we're not like dead in the water, but, if you want a city judge, which I think would be a good deal, but, we need to plan for it.
Well, one of the things in your budget has been some revenue that's created off the city court. And there hadn't been any, not that I'm aware of. There might have been some fines over there when everything changed over, but it's hard to hold court and say, hey, you gotta do this if you don't have a judge. So again,
states divides it out, you know, so. But it is some revenue.
So you're telling me, let me make sure I understand this, you're telling me that the police department issues a traffic citation, and they're gonna contest it. They go to the JP.
Nope.
No? What happens if they contest it?
If they write a traffic ticket in the city of Bogota, it stays right here.
So if we don't have a municipal judge, we'll
You
just.
don't do nothing.
Okay. Well, I asked her, that's not what I was understanding.
Yeah. No, that doesn't work. JP cannot enforce city ordinances. It's not in their jurisdiction statute.
Now, my understanding is right, we can talk to the JP and hire that.
You could hire the JP to be the city judge. And the same person did the same thing. It's like Mayberry RFD, but legal. So that's, she or he could come over here and be the city judge once a month or twice a month, however long. But you can't just take your tickets over to the justice of the peace and say, here, we want you to be the judge.
Well, that's something, we can have that conversation with her, I'm not sure
Well,
what.
that's what I'm saying, is that something we want, contact our justice of peace and have a conversation with them, her?
I mean, she might be willing to
I'd rather
do
do
it
that than
briefly.
put a public thing out there, because every time they
I
do
wasn't
apply for
worried,
that
I
job.
wasn't worried you could do that, so. That's something I would be interested in having a conversation.
Make a motion that we contact the JP and see if she is willing to serve as our county judge before we make any other.
As our city
Action.
judge,
Huh?
as our city judge?
To be, the JP to be our city judge, what did I say?
You said county judge.
No, city judge.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
And accept the resignation.
Yeah, and accept, Alex Davidson's resignation.
I second.
All right, motion and seconded to accept the resignation of our current judge. And to contact JP to find out if they're interested in serving as, at least temporarily anyway, serving as our city judge for a period of time. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Purchase or lease of a backhoe. We had some discussion in the last meeting related to that. Several of us, I think, made some kind of statement about, the advantages of having a lease. I know it's not due until April, I think. Again, I have to look at the letter. But they want us to go ahead and try to make a decision. You can renew the lease, you can buy it out, several little options there, but there is some advantages to continuing our lease program. Maintenance, and, care, and if we have a breakdown, people come, they'll get to us within, what was it, 24 hours? If we had to have another machine?
No, 3 hours.
3 hours?
3 hours.
So, and we have, I don't know, I did not see a price for what new lease is going to be, but I suspect it to be very similar. Bobby, did you see any kind of price on any of that paperwork or anything that you?
I don't remember what I gave y'all last month.
I don't remember seeing a new price list. It was more a notification for us to start planning, basically. Discussion?
Did anyone get the prices for purchasing one and the options and stuff? I thought that's why we put it back on here, was because somebody was
Yeah,
supposed to.
well, who was it? Was that
Dakota.
Were you gonna get a price or anything on that?
Yeah, they never got back with me, and financial situation we're in, we probably can't afford one, so I think it'd be best just to do the lease program.
The positive side of that is that we're already in a lease program, so I'm not expecting, I don't, you know, the way things are, pricing may go up a little bit, I don't know. But that's something I can try to find out.
So you want to make a motion that we stick with the lease program?
I'll make a motion to stick with the lease program on the backhoe.
I'll second it.
Motion and second to continue the lease program with the backhoe. Other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. That motion passed. Chief station to attend school in March and May. Chief, you have any words of wisdom on that?
Yes. These are free schools. They are required by the state for me to take a new chief school and a regular chief school. I have 2 years to do them, but there's some back-to-back. Hotels, accommodations are free. The only thing that will be charged to the credit card are daily incidentals, which I believe is $25 a day, and that will be reimbursed at the end of the stay. Didn't damages or anything that might be, but that's the only cost.
So we wouldn't have any per diem or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a daily per diem,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think that's only $25 a day or something, but
Can you eat for $25 a day?
not with these prices these
You
days.
can't eat for $25 a meal.
You go for it.
But as far as the cost goes, it's all free, the hotels are free. And then the incidentals will be charged to the credit card, but it will be reimbursed.
Is it a week long?
They're a week long. One of them's in Huntsville and one of them's in Conroe, I think. So, and then obviously fuel to get down there, so. But those are the only two that are available this year.
All right, what's the wish of the council?
Make a motion that we send the chief to the school in March and school in May.
I second it.
Motion and second to send chief to the March and May schools for chief school. Any other comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passed. Item M, leased police vehicle, State Bank, October 2024.
The leases were originally authorized by the city council on September the 23rd, 2024, which is the same date coincidentally that the budget for 2024, 2025 was approved. The motion that was made and that passed said that the leases were approved so long as it stayed within line item 6581. And I have looked at line item 6581, 3 or 4 different ways, and it says zero every time in that line. It just says zero there, but that's what it said. So, the conclusion I'm drawing from that is that money wasn't budgeted. The same night that the leases were approved, the budget said there's nothing in there, and there was never any money transferred from anywhere else into that line item. So, as I understand it, the city paid the first lease payments in April. But that money came out of a whole different line item than 6581, wasn't even in there. And then you guys who are on the crime board now know that the last $13,000, the crime board paid. So there wasn't money to do this. But the leases, we are obligated to pay $13,000 an additional 10 times through October the 30th of October 2030. We have 2 lease payments a year, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 on 2 different cars. So we'll be paying that kind of money. It goes down a little bit, but not much, as we start since this is one of those, and we talked about this some earlier, since this is one of those debts that goes over a year, there's, the documents that were signed says, hey, guess what? We're gonna try to budget this thing every year. And there's a provision there, if the city can't budget it, then something else happens. And like the lease closes out. So here's what I'm telling you. I was asked to try to negotiate something with these people. If you budget that money for it, you're stuck with it. You're gonna pay those two leases until, at least for the next year. And we know the city didn't pay it the last time because it wasn't in there. They only managed to pay half of it. So those, that total debts, I haven't added it up, but it's probably $60,000, $70,000 in car debt that we got on those leases. So that's Houston, that's a real problem. You got from the fiduciary point of view, you've got 3 or 4 police cars over there that I guess are paid for, and you got these two that aren't, and you got 2 cops. Not my decision. I'm just letting you know that there's an issue with this. It wasn't funded consistent with what the city authorized. There's never been an amendment to authorize. And the money that's been paid didn't come out of that budget item because there was 0 in it. When I saw it, there's still 0 in it right now for that year.
Shoot, let's just do a raffle once a month, and we'll sell raffle tickets, and one lucky person gets to take a cop car home.
Well, when you say raffle and once a month, there was something in the city budget, and I haven't looked at this, and you're entitled to have this later. When that budget was passed, there was a payment that was at $504.29. That was it. It didn't say monthly payment. It just said payment. It just so happens that was the amount of a vehicle that was being purchased. Now that vehicle purchase was going through the crime district at the time. So the city gets this big statement from the crime district, we're not paying any more police bills. Except that one. And the crime district paid it in May, in June, in July, and then in August, they paid off that car with $15,000. And I sit here for every meeting you guys have had, and nobody dropped that dime on the city council. Some of you are on the crime board, but you dang sure didn't let the city council know that car had been paid off. Not in any minutes that I've ever seen.
That car was paid off by the city council, the crime board that took place after Melissa and I got off.
Yeah, and those dates are really kind of sort of questionable too, because those who were here remember how much fun we had when I would say, hey, you can't do that hybrid crime unit situation. That was not a good day for about 2 or 3 times. So finally, the city council decided we're going to appoint 5-member city council. Well, we're going to appoint other people, citizens. That happened on September the 9th of 2025. One of those persons appointed was the chief's girlfriend or wife. 6 days later, they paid $15,000 to pay off the car. Nobody said a thing to anybody in here about it. And I know, I got the names of people now who were there. I know who was there. And nobody ever came to the city and said, hey, guess what? Y'all can amend that budget, take that money out of there. So I'm just telling you, if you vote to put that money in there now, you're going to be buying 2 leased police cars at least for another year.
So if we don't put the lease money in that line item budget, we leave it at 0,
Yes, ma'am.
what happens?
I get to negotiate with those people and call them up and say, the city, last year they didn't have anything in there, this year they don't have anything in there. What kind of deal will you cut me to save one car or the other car? What kind of deal can you make me? We might be able to come up with some money someplace else. But if it's in the budget, they're going to just laugh and say, nah, we'll just take our money and go on.
Let's fix the budget then. That doesn't take rocket science.
least that I could find, and I've looked over those
Are these ones
documents.
from the Kansas State Bank?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They were not the original vendor. The original vendor was somebody else, and then they actually sold the note to that bank. There's 20 or 30 pages on each lease, and you have to kind of dissect it over a cup of coffee. But yeah, that's the Kansas State Bank thing that's yes, ma'am.
Well, is there any way to, what that silver one is one that has a little mileage?
There's one that's been almost
clarify.
Chief.
Are you only talking about 2 cars?
Yep.
Okay.
There's 3 on the
There's
lease.
3.
We've got 3 leased, and I'm almost positive that one's on one lease
There's
and
silver
there's 2 on
2
another
levels,
lease.
and I'm trying to be rude to interrupt you.
One's that I'm
Clarify.
sorry, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Because I have 3.
They're released.
There's a 2019, a 23, and a 24.
I don't know about the 24 one.
I may be wrong about those years, but.
No, I know they're the 23 and the 19, because I've almost got that.
So I think the 23 and the 19 are the 2 white ones, and then the 24 is the silver one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look, but I don't think I got the documents on those last ones. Are you in agreement there's another leased vehicle? 'Cause well, we only been paying for 2.
And
'cause
on the lease agreements that I have from Kansas State Bank, it says on one of them that it's one amount, like the 5,000 and something is for 1 car, and it's 7,000 and something is for 2 cars.
Okay, all right. So let me look again, because it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
If it's 2 cars or 3 cars, and I only bought them, still the same deal. If you finance it, you're gonna be buying. And you can come back in and say, hey, we're gonna amend our budget, pay for them if you want to. But right now, I can tell the vendor, absolutely, they're making a budget for that. And that would be one of those good times to also say, we haven't been audited in 3 years either, so, it makes the negotiation easier for me, because all the time. If you take that money out of there, I can legitimately say, we couldn't afford it.
I make a motion that we remove the lease payment on our proposed budget and have Mr. Hamilton negotiate with the lease company.
I'll second.
What did you say?
I was just asking which one had the lowest miles, because if we were gonna get rid of,
Yeah,
try to at
that's,
least keep one with the lowest miles.
that's it. Whichever one he says, I'd like to save this one, that's the one I'll negotiate.
There's a 2019, I think you said was on one lease by itself.
Okay.
That one doesn't have anything on it that I can use.
Is that the one that doesn't have any decals or
It
anything?
doesn't have any decals or anything, but, I mean, that would be my first option to go. And as far as the other ones, I mean, the silver one that I drive has now 4,600 miles on it.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion, and a second to,
To zero the lease budget.
well, it currently is 0, but do we need,
Well, right now, it is, but the proposed budget, I think, is 27.
Yeah, we want to leave that proposed budget at 0.
Yeah, you want to zero that out. 6581.
6581?
Yes, sir. 6581, it says payments and leased vehicles, right now it's about 27,000 in it.
There's 27,000 we put
If they
somewhere.
zero that out,
Yeah.
that,
You keep it driving until April, I mean, and I'll get to work on it, and if something else
What
happens.
about the audit?
It just gives me a start.
Okay, we have a motion then that we zero out the line item on the proposed budget that has to deal with the lease payment 6581.
Chris seconded it.
Yeah, and Chris seconded it. Any other discussion?
Would that $27,000 get y'all the better audit?
Well, the $27,000 can be used on another line somewhere.
I know, but I was just thinking about the audit, if that was, no.
Yeah, I mean,
You haven't even had one of those yet.
Well, I mean, y'all were talking
We
about,
know what we're doing.
well, I was thinking if there was a better version y'all were talking earlier about, you know.
all right, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
community center repairs. Tex, would you handle this, right now? I've got to take a little quick break.
Well, let's just take a break.
Everybody wants a break? I've held about as much water. I'll try not to stumble over the wires.
Whatever you had, you shared it with us?
I just got my pink off thing.
They took it to places, they were gonna fly, but they couldn't get a helicopter.
I need a little bit more excitement.
That one, another car, and they know what it actually got, so, we thought we were gonna have to, but we had a big paper trailer from the pedals, so taxes goes down a little bit, but he wasn't really the ten, so we had enough people there that somebody jumped in the passenger seat and just worked him out, so they wanted to go back more than, he was 17, yeah. Yes, I didn't get his name. He was hurting, he was making some jokes and stuff, so hopefully
Kill any more time, but
Because there's 4,900 for now.
I gotta be back for the
It's just getting good, I mean, why leave it now?
We're gonna find some more money from this guy.
I'm telling you.
Get ready.
tell you what, we need people to do something about it here too. We have this really good barbecue, we have a full-time hot dog guy, a laundry guy, two full-time butler guy, but we're also listening to everything.
Thanks.
See what he would do.
And the thing of it is once the bond payments come through, the period bond payment, that's why they're pushing for all of the.
I'm about this towards here, yes. Yeah. Well, all that water and then. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right out here, right from the door. I come out here and I started sliding across there and I couldn't catch myself and I finally went down and it was right after everything started and all that water was on top of it. I wallowed around, got all wet and they had to scoot over here where I could get up on the stove and get myself.
Well, I'm gonna go, since everybody got back down there, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. There wasn't no standing on that, man, I tell you. This morning early, I called David, them, I hey, look, we still gotta patch eyes out there, so we have to go down and break it out or something, you know? But and then I couldn't get out, it was a little bit of an incline, when I left and go back out, I couldn't get out, so I walked out to the kitchen out here, got a hold some poles and got out far enough where I could get off of it, yeah. Well, there was some little tucks, Greg, up there, you know?
He was buttoned up, but he should hopefully be all right.
Teresa, when he came in, he said, he come in like he always, I said, you come here early, well, I was up at the community center. He turned around all the stuff over there, and he goes swimming while you were up there.
Oh, okay.
Did you say put it on the next agenda?
No, I said, if y'all decide to do it, there's no.
Oh, I thought you said put it on the next agenda. All right. It's on the next agenda.
The other guy that Dakota was talking about.
Oh, it is?
We'll get your marking on it. That is cheapest.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that.
I need to hurry up. It's running after 10. Now y'all keep wondering where I'm at.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
But is that just giving us?
Okay, so you need to.
Has he done anything yet?
Well, we can, but it'll have to wait till Monday would be the earliest date we can do it. And that's it.
Well, we need.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying if you can get it done.
All right, y'all ready? Quotes, bids, for community center repairs. Copy of the Johnson quote has been passed out. Other quotes are Fallen Mountain Lakeside.
Did you get this? Do you know this guy?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of houses that I know. I got Buzz gonna fix my house up.
Community center,
I'm trying to sell later.
Ken?
Yeah.
But he's done like,
Yeah.
famous people, singers and stuff. I went to school with his son. Yeah, he came over here twice. Yeah,
I don't know, that's what I'm asking.
he's a pretty good guy. Been in business for a while, so.
When you talk, I noticed you put one thing in here that the damage is greater than expected, you would be notified.
But that's gonna be anybody.
Well, I know that.
No one knows what's under it.
That's what I'm saying, did he tell you?
He said the council.
Right, but I'm saying, well, he wrote it here, Chris Kennedy, but I know the council, did he tell you, had any clue whether there might be more in there? Or did he-
Well, he said he's gonna tear from that door all the way across, and he don't know, being farther down from here.
Until they get that all up, there's no way to go.
So y'all still taking bids, or y'all have already got the bids?
We got, I've had a handful of people meet me up there and walk through it, and one guy was really high, and then one guy showed his business, quit doing it.
The reason I asked is I think Ted Torres, I think, was wanting to try to put in a bid, I think. But I don't know.
So the way that he's got this divided up, are we talking about all total,
This is the whole thing.
the whole thing?
total of all of these added together, that's $6,035,000. That would be between 32 and 35,000, depending on what that last item.
And he also told me we don't have to do all of it at once. I'm happy to
Yeah,
go
that
back,
would be my
get
next
that
question.
open, and then later on, if we get some more money, he can come back. But I think that budget said we, budget this place for 4,500, it's closed right now, so, he ain't making no money.
We have a lot of people. We have a lot of people, signed up to book this,
Do we know what income is brought in last year?
I don't have it in front of me, though. We had quite a few that was, I mean, we had quite a few using it, but we also had a few that wasn't paid, so.
The people you didn't pay?
Well, we had people that we didn't charge for certain.
Oh, I got you.
I don't remember who all those people were, but, yeah. Last meeting, I believe, we went through a list of people who were going, who would qualify, just not paying, but like the extras, I mean, they,
I think if we're gonna break this into segments, and I think we probably need to, that kitchen, just delete number one, because that's a real danger.
Do we have people still using this place? Because Melissa said they're,
Somebody used it because it was food all over the bathroom floor, there's a whole kitchen.
We think that they're using the gym and came in.
they should be using none of it, it's all.
No, it should all be closed off.
I think we had one key that was out that somebody came, I think, in fact, you talked to that lady, right, that came in and said that something about a child's sweater or something.
Oh,
Evans was-
Evans, a mom.
Oh. Anyway,
As far as I know, they haven't brought the food back.
Well, do that.
who was it, do you remember? Okay.
I've got it where I'm at.
Okay.
So do we need to get a
I know
rekey?
Evans has tried to call a couple times. Yeah.
I don't know if she has some or she's.
I came up last week when we were thinking that we might have to use this part of the area for warming station. I came up, I locked the door going out to the hallway there into the gym. I made sure other stuff was off. I locked the doors on the outside going out, and of course I put that caution tape up and the signs up. And I had to open up the doors during the cold weather because the heating unit back there is not working. And so I had this unit on and the heating unit for the hallways and the bathrooms, and it kept everything, pretty good during the ice weather. No, we didn't have any freezing or anything like that. But if you were to go in back there right now, it'd be chilly.
On this bid, notice under vinyl flooring bid, the price is for labor only, that's not for materials. So your 35,000 is gonna be more than that depending on the material you choose
Would the Bogota Economic Development Court money work for that? Wasn't it 4,900?
Could we do that? Is that on the agenda?
That's two items.
It's talked about, amount, it can be done.
Yeah, we need to get this back open for community use. This community utilizes this building a lot. People count on it for different things. And reunions. Yeah, reunions, birthday parties, showers, yes, we've even fed families in here after their funeral.
Sadly, I use it as a
When you tear out the floor, I mean, that floor and cover has got to have to be replaced at the same time too. So you're gonna have some extra expense there as far as the floor in the kitchen area. And I tell you, we're gonna have to look at the budget things to see where we can, we've already mentioned a couple of things that we might be able to do here. So I don't know if we can make a decision on this or maybe some of the other things right here. Until we actually get the budget worked up and look at the things that we talked about. We can say what we're gonna do first, but
Well, did y'all put it on the agenda to close that thing down, to get that money?
Yes, we look at that. Do we have any idea how long this bid is good for?
He told me on my house it was, 60 days, and that was last month, he said, when we were supposed to have that little call meeting. So, he sent me that.
Would y'all want to take bids from other people? Like I said, I know the tourists had asked me about it. I don't know if maybe before the next meeting.
He's taking bids, he's got bids.
Well, no, I'm saying like if they wanted to get with you.
That's a pretty big project. I in here it's probably, you could probably have someone that does it on the side or something like that. That's a pretty big job right there. I think you want someone with insurance and all that.
Yes, somebody knows what they're doing.
Cheaper ain't always better.
that George has been doing this a long time.
Let's go with it.
I don't know, it's not good, let's go with it. I think we'd be wise to talk and find out what he could.
Does he do that kind of work? I thought all he did was concrete.
I don't have a clue.
They redid my old house before I moved in it. When I bought it, that's who I had remodeled that old
Is he
house.
not the one that bid on repairing the roof at City Hall, that just put total price, nothing on it?
I remember that happened, but I don't remember who it was.
I'm just saying if y'all wanted to take more bids is all.
We were talking about this for shutting this down, last month, we were talking about the money for that, so I think it's everything, like we would put a bid in, we do that.
It ain't gonna hurt my feelings anyway. If we don't use this guy, we do use him. I don't know that person.
They ain't got insurance, I don't think they still do it.
okay. What do you want to do? As I say, we've got to build this budget around on some of the things that we talked about.
I'm gonna make a motion that we table this until next month and get this
favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion passed. Amendments to the 24-25 budget and related resolutions. Well, I mentioned that a little while ago. We're gonna have to redo those. After talking with our attorney just a little bit ago, we need to plan in some debt lines and that sort of thing. So that's what. Well, that's part of that. I mean,
That would have been the previous budget.
yeah, we amended it earlier in the year. Like I mentioned, there were some line items that didn't match up with the numbers on the form line numbers, and then the budget line numbers didn't match up with the numbers, what the cost was of that thing. So I had to make an adjustment there. So it looks like, if I understand attorney's comments about it, I need to make another resolution rather than correct it.
I didn't notice it's on here, but since this work on that petty cash line item for the police department, it was originally funded at $2,500, and then went over that by $6,000. Then in the next month, when you're talking about amending, Mr. Mayor, I think it got budgeted for like $2,000.
We had to do something. I think originally it was like 2,500. Originally, that's what it was supposed to be.
Right, and they spent that in more.
Yeah.
But on this last one, it was only 25, and they spent 20 grand out of the petty cash thing. So either it was authorized or it wasn't, but you paid it. So you're gonna have to do something about that, because that money came out of there. It went right through that account. In fact, that was set up much like the economic development had a separate bank that money went into, and this is what I've tried.
So does that need to be set up like a debt as well, or?
You guys need to decide if this was authorized. Okay.
But all of $20,000.
No, it was not authorized.
There was $2,000, if I remember correctly, there was $2,000 that this council approved in that budget, 24-25. And by the time the former city secretary quit, there had been $20,000 worth.
That was not authorized.
No, sure wasn't.
Okay. All right. I can help with that. But that's something that it went through there. So, and I'm going to have to figure out, Mr. Mayor, how you do it. If it was not authorized and it went through there, what are we going to call it in the budget? But I'll let you know.
Wrong.
Wrong. Well, the language has got to be a little different than that, but.
If we can't do that tonight, I make a motion to take no action on item O and move on.
I second.
All right. Motion to take no action and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, item B, record and continuation of the Bogata Economic Development Corporation.
Is everybody going to just say let's quit?
Yes.
Because if you say let's quit, I'll do the quit stuff and have it in here quick. It's not as simple as just voting to stop, though. I think there has to be too. I know that there's a procedure. I just can't tell you what it is off the top of my head. But we'll get it done, and it shouldn't take more than 30 days.
It may be somewhere in those, in the document itself showing about what those are.
The bylaws are chapter 251 of the local government code. 1 and 2 of those will say what happens upon dissolution and what you have to do to get there. But I'll do it if y'all want me to.
Please.
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 As far as shutting this down, do we vote to shut it down, or does the board?
No. That'll happen next time. Let me tell you, we're gonna stop this, and with the understanding that no money comes out of there or goes in there until
So how do we need to make a motion like that?
Hamilton fix it.
Hamilton fix it.
Make a motion.
I make a motion that Hamilton fix it.
We don't have to make a motion.
No, I just understand, there could be no action item, we'll put it back on there next time with to finalize closing that distribution of money.
But do we need a motion to no action?
Yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion to take no action.
Motion?
I'll second.
And second, no action on item B. All right, item Q, credit for missed week of trash pickup for city customers.
Just a second, I can mention that, and this will be real quick. All right, I had Evan reach out to him, and I'm gonna read this real quick, and this pretty much nails it. He got an email from Jason Stevens at Waste Connections, said, as we discussed, events like this snow, ice, sleet storms are acts of God, are outlined in our contract in the event they happen and we can't provide service. Believe me, we hate it as much as anyone. We apologize for any inconvenience. We try to provide the best service for the city of Bogota, but at times we must protect our employees, the public, and the customers we are proud to service from harm. Next week, please have the residents place extra trash beside their park and we'll get it all picked up. Again, we apologize. Thanks for your understanding and patience as we work through this. That is in our contract. They will not issue us any credit for that. I believe pretty much everybody universally put 2 weeks worth of trash out here and they picked it all up and got it all up, and I've not really heard any issues of massive amounts of animals getting into it and making a big mess.
But they came at 7:30 this morning.
Yeah, they
I didn't get all my trash out.
Yeah. Well, they, just so y'all know, everybody knows, I mean, they actually contacted me, I think it was on Thursday afternoon, and told me that there was gonna be a problem with that, and that they would not be able to make the pickup, and I understood that, and I actually posed that question to them. I said, you have to understand, if that's the case, there's gonna be bags out there, additional. He said, no, we understand that, and we'll take care of it. And then he called me on Sunday to make sure, because that's when he said he would call back and find out if there was any difference in what they were planning. He called me on Sunday evening and said, well, it looks like we're not going to be able to make that pickup at all. And I reminded him that our dumpster was full, and they said they would get that. I don't know if they did it Thursday or Friday, but they did get that out of the way. So the other thing was is that if they got the dumpster emptied, well, then the secondary solution would bring your excess trash up to the dumpster, So everything worked out, and they, I think, did due diligence to take care of things. So
They did notify you that they wouldn't pick it up.
yeah,
And the reason why.
and we weren't the only city, of course. I mean, everybody they service.
They did get repairs, I seen them, they came to my job.
Didn't-
They got a different company that repairs that orange.
It's cards.
There's
It's
cards
like a
repairs.
residential.
They switched, they
Card,
probably,
yeah.
it's a company out of
This
Oklahoma.
was a sanitation solution truck.
They were probably coming from,
Maybe just,
Depending
maybe
on the road.
Sanitation Solutions does the commercial
And I was
stuff.
fixing to say, a lot of times these waste companies, when something like this hits, they will help each other. And so that may have been what some.
So is this a no action as well?
There's nothing we really can do. It's just.
All right, financial report for January 26th. You have those items in your packet. I just want to personally thank Bobby for all the hard work that she's been doing on all of this and with the CPA. And, we're getting to the point where maybe now we can have reports that will help us to make sure we get monies handled properly.
I will say I had a conversation a few weeks ago with the CPA, and one of the things she told me is that she feels like for the first time in a very long time, that everything is being put in the computer right, it's making her job 1,000 times easier, and she feels like that we are real close to getting it where we can get
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion and a second to accept the financial reports. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item S, adoption of the city budget is not gonna happen tonight.
So I'll make a motion, we take no action on item S.
All right, no action.
I'll second.
Motion and second. No action on item S. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Item number 8, we've already been reminded to file by February 13th if you're in the running business. With that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. I'll second.
Motion and second to adjourn. Any discussion? Thank you for the marathon and go home and get some rest.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.